It's been a long road since the original Kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
Do not attempt to adjust this transmission. We have assumed control.
The year is 1980. Music fights for its very survival in an acoustically desolate wasteland man calls automobile. Enter Steve Irby, a man whose love of music helped end this scourge forever and forge a path for modern car audio to follow. A humble musician with a passion for quality sound, Mr. Irby is a man who feels it is his destiny to provide a sanctuary for mobile audio. Welcome. Join us this evening as we venture back to the very night a young Steve Irby gains his inspiration to create the legacy we know today as Kicker Performance Audio. Though he does not realize it now, by this time tomorrow, Mr. Irby will have completed blueprints for the original Kicker and champion the war against mobile audio inequality. Tonight, Mr. Irby's prayers will be answered as he begins his quest into the Q Zone. Kicker L7QB8. With roots dating back to Kicker's inception, Mr. Irby and his team of engineers have achieved an unrivaled level of design and functionality. With extraordinary bass and a minimal footprint, the L7QB8 utilizes a seamless quarter-inch extruded aluminum housing, allowing optimal internal air volume for the subwoofer. This exclusive design provides exceptional strength and stability. Like the original Kicker, the L7QB8 incorporates a unique passive radiator to minimize required airspace while optimizing the efficiency and frequency response of the subwoofer. Opposite the passive radiator, the L7QB8 is equipped with the all-new 8-inch L7 square subwoofer. The 2016 L7 features an aluminum basket for exceptional strength and thinned aluminum heat sinks for efficient heat dissipation. Kicker's blue lace spider, solo cone 360-degree back bracing, and a laser-etched cone brace combine as a single ultra-rigid unit. The result is increased clarity, higher volume, and added reliability. The square cone features over 20% more surface area than round subwoofers. It's attached to a Santoprene surround, then stitched to the cone for long life and durability. This surround features Kicker's patented ribbed corners, which fully dictates cone motion and extends surround life. At the base of the unit, a pair of custom-formed flanges integrate seamlessly with an extremely low-profile mounting system, consisting simply of a mounting plate and bar. Once installed, the overall height of the enclosure is only 9.5 inches. This profile is small enough to work perfectly in countless trucks, sedans, and SUVs. Once again, Kicker sets a new standard with the groundbreaking design and unparalleled performance of the all-new L7QB8.
frequencies detected emanating from the heavens. Saucer-shaped objects confirmed all over the world. Unidentified flying K saucers spotted delivering Kicker's amazing new Comp-Q subwoofer. Built for precision, built for abuse, built for the future and benefit of mankind. Kicker's new Comp-Q woofer leaves audiences astounded and amazed as it reveals subtleties in their favorite music in a way that is sure to make women blush and grown men cry. The surround features Kicker's variable cross-section high-roll design, allowing extended cone travel and excellent cone control. It's firmly attached to the cone, reinforced with our iconic stitching. Betsy Ross would be so proud. The injection molded solo cone and laser X cone brace combined in a single ultra-rigid unit. Venting in the brace relieves performance-robbing back pressure. All this adds up to very low distortion and amazingly clean low bass. A progressive roll blue lace spider adds even more cone control at maximum excursion. The woven tinsel leads are sandwiched between the spider and the lace for durability and long life and to prosper. The spring terminal's heavy-duty square design accepts wires as big as 8-gauge or two 12-gauge wires for multi-sub installations. The high-temp voice coil is rumored to be spun upon the looms of the gods of polyamide fiberglass, along with a reinforced former for high strength and power handling. Now, add colossal magnets, plus a cavernous bump backplate, an extended pole piece created in a single forging, the likes that haven't been seen since the creation of Poseidon's trident. And the result is a driver with superior control and effective heat dissipation that extreme performance demands. The all-new Kicker Comp-Q is designed from the ground up to deliver everything you demand from a premium subwoofer. High output, deep, powerful, accurate bass, remarkably small enclosure requirements, stunning good looks, and not to mention the ability to frighten small children when turned up to 11. So there you have it. The all-new Kicker Comp-Q subwoofer. Another zenith of innovation and epic majesty from Kicker.
I built my first speaker to be louder. I was playing in a band and the drummer played so loud and the keyboard that I had wouldn't play very loud, and I went to my dad and said, I need a bigger speaker. It's a Fender Bandmaster, it costs $300. He dropped the newspaper. It said $300. Yeah, but he didn't say no. He said, is it something that we could build? And so that's how I got started building speakers. The thing that I love to see is a product that we made and get to stand back kind of anonymously and watch somebody take a look at it, listen to it, and go, wow. I think that's what really lights my fires, to make products that people enjoy and have fun with. As time went on, I heard people say, you know, Kicker's like a family. I actually didn't set out to do that. I thought it sounded kind of hokey. I thought they were insincere and just saying that. After a few years, I realized, yeah, maybe that's what we've got. And that's the key, is the good people on your team in the band that makes the band really great. Well, I think Kicker is primarily a lifestyle company. That's a little backwards of where I started. I thought we were a technology company and we would make great products, but as time went on, realized that it's about people and helping people to enjoy their life and what they do. And that's what I do, too. So share the love a little bit, I guess.
Good evening, everyone. It's Kip, and I got my good buddy John joining me here tonight. It's Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly, Tuesday, 7:30 Central Time. You are at the right spot. Kicker Facebook and YouTube channels. Hope you're all having a great time tonight. We did some teaser stuff last week to let you know what's going on in this week's show. Obviously, we are going to cover all of the products that John and his team went over back, and we don't want to use the word the SEMA Unmasked show, but it was during the SEMA time frame. We actually showed all the new products that are coming for 2021.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot.
We got a lot to cover.
We got a lot to cover, but
a quick hour and a half.
It's going to be a quick hour and a half. Hopefully, we'll try to keep it like, we've got this clock. We try to run it right up to 90 minutes. If we end up running a little bit long because there's a lot to cover, we apologize. Hope you can hang in there and get it, but we'll try to get everything compressed down into 90 minutes. And the habit we've gotten into, all of us here in the studio, we've got Tim over here behind the cameras, we got Ernie, we got Bill Frog, and we've got Jeremy backstage. They are running all the production behind the scenes.
We got the whole crew.
Got the whole crew. And
all right.
It's kind of become a habit here that people would like to work this show because you get dinner. And tonight's dinner was brought to us courtesy of Chipotle, and that shout out goes to Mr. Jeremy Wynn. He said, let's do Chipotle tonight, so we had Chipotle. I had a bowl burrito. It's pretty good.
Me too. It's awesome.
So we're always fed and happy here for this long run up until about 9 o'clock Central Time, which is
then
a good
it's
thing.
nap time.
And nap time.
We're old, remember?
Keep the carbs down. Can't have a nap time yet. But with that said, if I could, Jeremy, if you don't mind, I want to kick off real quick. We've gotten in the habit here of actually doing these in-program drawings. And we think it's the best way and the funnest way to interact with you guys because it's really people who hear out the show, you're participating. We draw the winner at the end of the show and announce, and so those are the people who win. We're actually giving away a couple prize packages tonight. We're going to do one of the, you've seen the Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirts, the gray ones. That's the second generation shirt. But the first one from the very first Unmasked Live show was the black, the limited edition.
Still don't have one of those.
We'll get you one, maybe. Sandy, our gal, she went digging around and she actually found some more of those black shirts around. So we've got a small quantity of those. We could probably do over a couple shows going from here out. So tonight's winners, you're going to get a limited edition, literally, because we're not going to do the black ones again, at least not for a while. You're going to win a Kicker Unmasked Live event shirt. We're going to get you a set of EB200 earbuds, the same ones that John and I wear in the studio, and a lot of you have won already. And we're going to give you a couple of Kicker koozies so that you can enjoy your favorite beverage cold for a little bit longer, whatever that may be.
What kind of beverage?
Whatever. The soda variety, water variety, or
adult variety?
Processed water variety, if you like. I mean, I kind of like the processed water myself. After it's got a little bit of wheat and a little bit of hops in it, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I was thinking some more bourbon. But
So, Jeremy, if you don't mind, if you could you put the link up on the screen for the contest drawing? Let that be up there for just a little bit. And Bill, social guy, he will post that over into the chat box as well. It's basically the same as all, guys. It's kicker.fun. That's basically our link where we do all our giveaways now, so we can't hide that. It's going to be kicker.fun/new 2021. That link will be live starting right now through up about 8:30, 8:35. We have a habit of usually closing that out right about 8:30, 8:35. We'll do the drawings and we'll announce the winners at the end of the show.
Wasn't that Awesome Bill from Kickerville?
Awesome Bill from Kickerville. I think someday if we can find the right amount of money, we could actually get Bill Frog to put on the Bill Frog suit. If you've watched
send in the donations. It's worth it.
If you've seen the Bullfrog videos, Bill's lost a little weight since then, but we told him pillows.
Yeah, absolutely. Santa does it.
Santa does it. I did, 60
I don't
pounds
need
ago.
to do it anymore.
I'm not going to do it. I'll hopefully stay where I'm at. So with that said, thank you for tuning in. It's going to be a little different show tonight. John and I are here sitting behind the desk. We're going to ping pong back and forth over updates on all the new 2021 products. And our camera guy, Tim, when possible, he's going to do some close-up shots of the actual product here in front of us. So I'm going to kick this off. Ernie, if you would please bring up the first intro slide that we've got going on, and that would be for the Power Bar products. And if you'll pull that up on the screen, Ernie's been out a week, so he's a little slow on his game. So maybe we got to give him a little more time.
He was still tuned in. We caught him.
But John, go ahead and give us a little rundown. What do we know about the new Power Bars?
Well, obviously, the Power Bar and the ATV market, off-road market has gotten really popular, and you guys been asking for Power Bars. So yeah, we listened. Hey, we came up with Power Bars, and don't be confused. There's zero, Kip, absolutely zero nutritional values in these Power Bars, but there's chocked full of acoustical value.
Well, I've picked one up. They're weighty.
Oh yeah, they're very serious bars. So these powers come in two varieties or two flavors, as you might say. We've got a 6-speaker unit that's got 4 3.5-inch speakers and 2 soft dome tweeters, which is powered at 150 watts of power. And then we've got the 10-speaker variety, which is going to be 300 watts of power. And a couple of things that make these power bars unique: they'll both mount to round and square tubes, so various sizes. But they've got something really cool, and we like to call that broadcast mode. And broadcast mode basically means as many of your buddies as you can gather around your power bar, being the main power bar, as many slaves as you can get within roughly 100 feet, you can broadcast to all your buddies as long as they all have KICKER power bars.
And theoretically, I mean, there's probably no limit on how many of these you can run. We haven't really found the limit, but we're saying, what, 100?
Easy, yeah, absolutely. Just, there's no signal loss, within 100 feet, so as many as you can pack within a 100-foot radius,
Basically, we're just using Bluetooth like an FM transmitter for a small local transmitter, so you can just pair multiples up. So if your buddy's got one, you got one. If you got one on your boat and your UTV's there, you can send the same signal to both of them at the same time. Those are coming. That was one of the most highly asked about products that we had was the power bar products.
Yeah.
There's a few. Of course, we all know everyone's interested in L7X.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we got to save that for later.
But a couple other cool things about these power bars is, of course, they've got 12-foot power cables, that are pre-terminated, 8-gauge power wires. So they bolt right up, no special tools required there. But you've also got a 12-foot auxiliary input. So you want to run, anything with a headphone jack, and they've got an auxiliary output, like an audio output, so you can tag along a subwoofer if you want to.
So you can, if you want a little bit more sound of that, you can add a subwoofer, powered sub, either powered in itself or an amp and a separate sub to the power bar.
And of course, being an outdoor, power bar, it's going to be IP66 rated, so it's going to get wet, you can get sand, get dirt. It's going to be absolutely durable through all that. And the little control on the front, it's lit up, comes with a little remote control which you can strap to your bars or strap to your old crap handle, one of those things, wherever you want to put that remote. So really cool power bars. They really sound good. Pre-programmed equalization settings. There's so much more we could talk about these, but we'd probably be here all night just talking about the power bars. But
it's a brand new product category for us here at KICKER. It is a very highly requested product from us, and it's nice that we're coming to market these. I've had the opportunity. I know John has too. We've heard these back in the lab. They sound fantastic. You're going to love these. If a power bar is something that you need for what you're doing, whether it's your ATV, UTV, golf, and I mentioned golf car. They're not carts, they're cars. But they come with the round, as John mentioned, there's two brackets. They come with the round bracket. If you need the square bracket to mount onto a golf car, that is an accessory that you can purchase. And just so happens I got the price sheet here, and those brackets are going to retail for $29.95 for the set. So if you do need to go to a square tube mount, and these are serious brackets. These are serious brackets. They're not going to just bend or break on you. They're the real deal. And so as far as the release date, John, I've actually got two sets of forms here, and we're kind of going to ping pong back and forth, make sure we're on the same page. What do you have as far as the release date in your paperwork?
I've got April. So
you've got April?
Coming up pretty close here. A couple months.
So I've got Q2 is what we've got here in the latest April. So which would be January, February, March. So April, which is Q2. I'm just verifying this because we're sure they're going to hold our feet to the fire on this information.
Hey, this could change too, guys. You might get them sooner, you might get them a little later, but this is pretty darn close. This is the latest information we got, but don't hold us to it.
Yeah, and that's probably a good thing to get out now is that all this information we're giving you right now is based on the most accurate information we have in the bar as of today.
Hey, unless a container falls in the water or gets lost.
That happens.
Yes, that has happened. Recently.
It's happened. So we've got those, the two different models. Of course, this is what you're waiting for, the PB1 and the PB2. The PB1 is the, tell me if they're right, the PB1 is the small one, correct?
Yes.
So that's small, and that's the 6-speaker model with 150 watts. That's going to carry an MSRP of $649.95 and actually a street UMAP of $599. So $600 for the small one, and then you get into the bigger one, which is the 10-speaker with double the power. It's a 300-watt unit. That one we're looking at a UMAP pricing set at $799.95. So $800.
And that's a real 300 watts. You look at the power cable on those things. It's serious. It's not just that overinflated power rating. That's true KICKER power.
No, it's true KICKER power. So again, to recap, we are covering all of the new products that we released at the first original Unmasked live event. We're giving you updates on those, and that is the update on the power bar products. We're going to be looking at basically 600. 800, 2 price points, and hopefully see them in stores in April. I've heard a rumor we could get a little earlier than that, but again, we're giving you our best information that we have at this point, and so that's all we can do. And I know
only tell them what we know.
We've got enough feedback to this channel. We know you guys are asking when is it and how much does it cost, so we figured this would be a good show to cover all that because we've got a lot of great information here we can cover. So John, with that said, let's move on to number 2. What do you got?
Number 2, we got the PSM3s, the little powersports 3-inch speakers, all enclosed. So if you've got an application where you need some some nice little speakers that sound great, that play loud, but you don't have an enclosure, any place to mount them. These little PSM3s sound awesome. They both come in black and chrome, and 2 ohm and 4 ohm varieties. They sound killer, they look killer, and they're going to fit pretty much wherever you need them. And like I say, they're going to fit that little niche. I mean, if you want to put them on your GoPed or whatever you want, you can get some sound pretty easily.
Now, we'll bring this up, John, because there's a lot of reasons why we do this. Obviously, we've had them in chrome. New for this year is they're in chrome and black.
And gloss black.
And gloss black. So we had a lot of requests for gloss black, so that's now a new color to the edition. And we offer these in 2 ohm and we offer them in 4 ohm. And we do that for a lot of reasons. First one would be, number one, flexibility on wiring to a single amplifier, and flexibility on wiring multiples of these to a single amplifier. So if you were using one of our powersports amplifiers and wanting to get the most power out of it into just a pair of drivers, you'd use the 2 ohm.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to put a pair of these on your vehicle or ride, or whatever you're going to put them on, you would probably use the 4 ohms, because then you could wire those down to 2 ohms and still
you want
get
to wire those series or parallel, Kip?
I'm going to wire them in parallel.
I think you're right. I think I would too.
We'll wire those down. So there's 2 impedance options available, and they're available in both colors. And really, the impedance option, it's not about 2 ohm or 4 ohm. One doesn't sound better than the other one. It's simply how much, what's the nominal resistance or impedance.
Yeah, the best way to match it up to the amplifier.
So if you're running just a pair and your amplifier is rated for 4 ohms, then definitely pick up a pair of the 4 ohm drivers. If you're using one of our powersports amp and you're just using a pair and you want to get all the power, definitely run a pair of the 2 ohm drivers.
Yeah, or even if you're running any of our amplifiers, we're rating them at 2 ohms. So.
True. So that's why we offer dual impedance on those, because it gives you lots of flexibility to match those up to your amplifier, whether it's a single pair or multiple pairs. You can get what you need done. Now, I'm going to ask you the trick question, John. Again, we're going to go ping pong back and forth between a couple different sheets, make sure we're getting accurate information. What do you got for release date on those puppies?
I've got April as well.
Same thing. I've got Q1.
April Fools.
April Fools?
No, it says April. It says it right here, guys.
Says April. I've got Q1 on my latest update sheet here, which means you're looking end of the first quarter.
Probably.
Beginning of the second quarter. These should be in the barn, hopefully sooner than later. This is a new product, but the speakers are designed. We just changed the cans. We changed the cosmetics basically for those for this year. It's not it's the same
the
speaker.
other cool thing, they do mount on a square bar too. They actually come with a square bar inserts for a 1-inch square bar and 100 watts power handling.
That's a good point. I'm glad you bring that up, John, is it comes with the adapters. You can go either way, square tube or round bar.
Go either way?
Well, I can go chicken, I can go fish.
Exactly. Man.
Throw some pork in the mix, I'm happy with that too. So we're looking out on those, the PSM speakers. It doesn't matter which color or which impedance you go with. Those have a UMAP price of $199.95 for the pair. So if you pick up a pair of the chromes or a pair of the blacks, either or, you're looking at basically $200 for a pair of those. And again, these prices we're quoting you, these are basically our UMAP prices. It's an MSRP price. What you'll pick it up from your actual dealer, that's between you and him. It's just the price we can quote here on the show is UMAP pricing.
What if I want a pair of each? Can I do that?
You could, John, for you can have a pair of each.
Just making sure. Or 3 of one of the other.
The one thing I've learned over the years with John is just skewed slightly. If you need 90 degrees, John's really more like 89.5. So
or
whatever it takes to be, or 91.5.
Whichever way you want to go, whichever side I fell off on.
And that's John. So with that said, that's the Powersports PSM3 products. Those will be coming hopefully first quarter, late first quarter, early second quarter. We'll see those. So John, and I know there's no slide on this one, so this gets Ernie off. Maybe our camera guy can zoom in and get
Tim,
us
why don't you focus down on this little can we have down here in front of us.
Yeah, if you can get down on the KM flat pack cans now. Yep. John, I'm going to kind of lead you here. We've had these cans out for a while.
Oh yeah, they've actually been shipping. I installed a set last week.
Yeah. Well, you installed 2 sets.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the real cool thing for this year is we've taken that design because some people have what's called a factory mount or a flat mount, so they can't use a tubular clamp. And so basically the KMFC is the same thing but for flat?
Yeah, it's basically the KMTC is the tower mount that has those big gnarly clamps that you can rotate and unattach the speaker. So those are great, but what if you've got, once again, that factory mount? In fact, the boat I just got done working on was an X-Star, and it's got a mount that's got basically a hockey puck that's welded to the bar. There's really no place to clamp our other bracket to, so this is designed to bolt right up to that factory mount, and then it's got this little collar that bolts to the mount, and then you slide the speaker into it and put the 4 set screws in, and it is absolutely solid as a rock. Or you can take that collar and you actually mount it to any flat surface, and then once again insert the speaker and tighten it up. And these are similar to the KMTCs. They're available in 9-inch and 11-inch. They're 4 ohms, 300 watts power handling, 92 and 93 dB sensitivity. So extremely efficient, but they're using that exponential horn, which really acoustically sounds natural. It's not
Sure.
going to give you your typical horn sound. They're going to sound great, and you talk about loud. I mean, these things are loud and proud. They sound great. They perform well. And once again, if you got a set of these, you're going to be the king boat on the lake out there. You're going to drive everybody away.
You know, this product, when we've got these in, and of course we did our homework, we've compared to a lot of the competition that's out there, and I'm proud to say, I don't care what you're looking at, the KMTC9 and the KMTC11, or the F equivalent, which it's the same driver, just the mounting system's different.
Yeah, it's the only difference.
These are fantastic sounding speakers. They are extremely loud. If you really want to get the most out of them, there's a couple different amplifier options you can obviously use, but what we recommend is we make a 1200.2.
Yep, KXMA 1200.2.
And that amplifier is basically 300 watts a channel at 4 ohms. It's 600 watts a channel at 2 ohms. So you can buy that one amplifier, run a pair, and then if your sweet tooth needs a little more touch, you can add another pair, and that one amplifier will actually
run. Sweet tooth or your deaf ear?
Well, if one don't make you deaf, two probably certainly will.
Yeah.
So, but they are definitely crisp and clean sounding. With Mr. Irby having the background as a musician and his background in pro audio and pro sound, when he started this company back in 1973, it gave us a real good foundation to come to the market with these type of loud speaker products. And the KMT and the KMF drivers, they do not disappoint at all.
So, and like I say, you talk about clean, even at full volume. They don't distort, they don't break up, they don't lose any sound quality. They're really phenomenal sounding speakers.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this year, one of the changes though, we've always had them in the gloss white, but this year we've gone to a gloss black as well, correct?
Yeah, they were actually in more of a matte black.
Right.
So we've actually gone to, as you can see by the one that's here in front of us, a gloss black and a gloss white.
And that was by people asking for it. We just got a lot of feedback that they would prefer a gloss black finish to the matte black finish we had. So for this year, all the product, if it says black, it is a gloss black finish.
Yeah, and like we tell people, you can get them any color you want, as long as you want white or black.
As long as you want white or black, Henry Ford is your greatest hero if you want them in black.
Yes, he is.
And as far as pricing, so I'm going to run through the sheet here. On the flat pack 9s, we're looking at a retail price point UMAP of $1180, so just a shade south of $1,200 for a pair of the 9s. And if we go into the flat pack 11s, we're looking at $1,380, so just north or just south of $1,400.
Yeah, and guys will probably realize real quick that's about $200 a pair, less than the KMFCs.
Right.
Or KMTC, sorry.
It's because there's a lot less metal. That big bracket on the tube mount, there's a lot more parts there than there is in the flat mount. And the thing to keep in mind on these when you're looking at these is they sound fantastic. They're going to fit. They're going to work well. They are designed from the ground up to survive in a harsh environment that is, marine, whether it's on salt water or fresh water. And these things come at that price. Keep in mind, that's all the brackets. That's the quick disconnect harness, and that's the LED lighting.
I was going to say, we didn't mention the LEDs. I was about ready to stop you there.
It's all included, and there's a lot of people out there making
color LEDs?
RGB.
Full color, yes.
Full color. You can pick whatever color you like. So keep in mind that at that price point, it's not just the can, and then, oh, by the way, add a grill, and oh, by the way, I want LEDs, and oh, by the way, I want a swivel bracket. That's everything wrapped in those speakers. So if you go with the TC product, that's going to get you the 359-degree swivel bracket, the quick disconnect system that it comes with, which is really cool. Once you see it, it's awesome. And it's also going to give you the LEDs. And then same thing on the flat pack. And as you notice on the price, the reason that they're a little less expensive is because there's a lot less metal in that mounting at the top.
Yeah, there's a lot of engineering that went into that bracket. And as you kind of mentioned, before in another, episodes, we engineer everything in-house. So those brackets were designed here. Then we had to have the tooling made and make the product. So there, a lot of extensive work went into that.
There is. And as far as I know, that product's, it's in-house now, is it not, John?
Yeah,
we've been
shipping. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's really no release date on those. It's
probably one of the few things we have in stock right now.
Yeah, probably. Sell.
Yeah.
So the flat Macs, they are available right now. So if you're one of those people who likes to get your boat upfitted in the off season, so you're ready to go when that first nice weather hits, go to your Kicker dealer, check out the KMFC for the flat or the KMTC for the tower. That's the big bracket. Neither one's going to disappoint. They're going to sound fantastic.
Well, something else kind of cool, the KMTCs actually can be bi-amped. So you're actually coming out of that big fancy bracket, you actually get a tweeter wire and a mid-range wire.
True. So now we've talked about the cans. You also have to power these, and I'm hopefully Ernie's going to hate me by the end of the show. So let's throw up the KMA series.
Why would he wait?
Do what?
Why would he wait till the end of the show?
He hates me now. So Ernie's going to throw up. The next step is going to be our KMA amplifiers. In our marine amplifier line, we basically do 2 lines. We do, and I hate to use the word entry level. It's entry level for kicker.
Yeah, it's where we start.
It's where we start. And so our entry level amplifiers are the KMA
It's
series.
our value packed line.
Value pack, but when we say it makes X power, it makes X power. They come with great crossovers. They got great controls. They sound fantastic. Run through the lineup with us, John. What do we got in the KMA?
Sure. If you guys are familiar with the KMA series from last year, they're going to look very similar, but they've been completely reworked and redesigned internally. Just the cosmetics are very similar. But to give you an idea, the 300.4 has now been replaced with a 360.4. Rather than that is going to be 65 watts per channel at 4 ohms, and it'll do 90 watts per channel at 2 ohms. So great little amplifier. New for this year, we're going to introduce the KMA 600.4, so 150 per channel at 2 ohms into 4 channels.
Okay.
So great 4-channel amplifier, a lot of power, and of course you got to have the 150 watt 2-channel, which is 75 a channel at 2 ohms. Great amplifier, and of course you got to have some multi-channel amplifiers. We've got a full range 6-channel amplifier, so 6 full channels, at 100 per channel at 2 ohms. And we're also going to have an 800 watt mono subwoofer amplifier that is stable to 1 ohm. So great amplifiers. They're basically conformal coated circuit boards. They got the marine certified connectors on them. So we follow all the marine certifications on these amplifiers to ensure that they're going to be durable and survive in that harsh marine water, whether it's salt water, whether it's fresh water. You can get them wet, get them splashed, get them sprayed. So they're we don't rate them IP66, but they pretty much are. So IP67 means you could submerge it. And like I say, if you had an amplifier and you're worried about working when you're submerged, you probably are more worried about how to get out of the boat without drowning.
Man, if you're in a boat and you're submerged, there's a whole lot of other problems you need to deal with.
Isn't that called a jet ski? Or
It might be.
Submarine.
So the KMA, obviously we call it our entry-level product, but it's not entry-level for kicker. It is a high-quality amplifier, great sound quality, great features, fully adjustable crossovers. They're 2 ohm stable, so they'll run into a 4 ohm or into a 2 ohm load.
Except for the sub-amp, it's 1 ohm stable.
Except for the sub-amp, that's 1 ohm stable. Thank you for pointing that out, John. So on those products, what do we have for a release date on the KMAs?
On the KMAs, I'm still looking at March, actually, the end of the first quarter.
Okay, so
It's
I've got
around my birthday, so you can buy me one for my birthday.
I'll buy you 2. So the latest sheet I've got says Q2, so we're trying to be conservative. We'd rather give you a date that's probably a little out there and we reach sooner. So the information in John's sheet, I've got another sheet, that's why we're ping-ponging back and forth. So I've got Q2, he's saying March, so we should hope to see these amplifiers out in dealer stores sometime March, April is our goal. Everything hits on all 8 cylinders. We're going to have this product out in the stores. You're going to be able to go find it sometimes between March and April.
If you get it sooner, bonus.
If it's sooner, yeah, bonus. Now, of course, for UMAP pricing, I'm just going to run down. Apologize, I have to look down, look up, but I obviously do not have all these prices memorized.
We're tech guys. We're not sales guys.
So the 801, which is the monoblock amplifier, that carries a UMAP of $299, so under $300.
It's a lot of power for that money.
A lot of power. You get down to the 606, and that's a 606 full range amplifier. So you could use that to run not just sub bass.
You could run, the bow speakers, the cabin speakers, a set of tower speakers.
Absolutely.
Or if you're really crazy, you could actually bridge it to 3 channels. So 200 watts per channel at 4 ohms into 3 channels to run 3 subwoofers.
Bridge one for your left side of your boat, bridge one for the right side of your boat.
Yeah, or run it 5-channel mode.
Or run it 5-channel mode.
Yep, there's a lot of options.
It's very flexible. But keep in mind, it is all 4-inch channels. A lot of people think if you get into a multi-channel amp that one of the channels is dedicated to only bass. This one could be bass or it's full range, so it's your choice.
Could I use that in my GM truck?
You could.
If you got dash speakers, storage speakers, and rear speakers.
Absolutely.
Great multi-channel amplifier. Just because they say that, marine rated doesn't mean they're not going to work in a car. They'll work absolutely as well as any other amplifier. And even if you happen to splash a beverage on them while you're driving down the road or off-road, and they're going to shut it off and get right back at it.
John sounds like the guy you need to go riding around with because he's really worried about beverages spilling inside the car. So I'm going to leave it there. But on the 6-channel, we're looking at $429 for a UMAP on that one. Get down into the 604. That amplifier is going to be $329. Then we get down into the 360.4. That's going to be $279.95. And then last but not least, the 150.2, which is a 2x75 amplifier. That one's going to be $169.95. And again, these amplifiers should be available in your Kicker dealers and online, and the first quarter knocking on March's door. So March, April timeframe is probably when we're looking at that.
I'll go for that.
Go for that. And then we'll give Ernie a chance. Hey, Ernie, if you want to go ahead and bring up the next KXMA slide, we'll just keep moving on to that. When you get on the screen, that'll be fantastic. So obviously KMA is our entry-level line.
Yep, our value pack, our mainstream.
Line. Then we move into KXMA, and KXMA is our higher-end amplifier.
Yeah, that's our
marine.
premier, marine line.
Tell us about it, John. What we got?
These amplifiers are great because they're, first of all, being an installer, I really like the fact that all the controls are on one side, all the connections are on the other. So very easy to mount, very clean. You don't have to. They've got this great little cover that goes over the controls that you screw down so people can't mess with it. So it gives them a very clean look. But functionality: 24 dB per octave crossovers, high pass and low pass, band pass capabilities. All these channels are both high pass and low pass. So I mean, a lot of flexibility. They are full range Class D. So they're more efficient, great amplifiers, and we've got some great models out there. We've got a 500.4, which we had a 400.4 last year, so we once again bumped that power up by 100 watts.
Perfect.
We've got an 800 watt 4-channel, which is new for this year in the lineup. So it's going to be 200 per channel by 4 at 2 ohms. So a bigger, more powerful 4-channel amplifier. We still have the 400.2, so 100 per channel at 4 ohms, 200 per channel at 2 ohms, and we have that all-important 1200.2 full-range Class D amplifier that we just talked about, perfect for the KMTC or the KMFC line. So get into the multi-channels. We talked about the 606 and the KMA line. We have an 800.8. So 800 watts into 8 channels. Here again, It's going to be 100 per channel at 2 ohms or 50 per channel at 4 ohms. And the 800.5 has been, kind of beefed up a little bit to a 900.5, give you a little bit more power in a multi-channel amplifier. Something else we have changed, and whether you like this or whether you hate it, the Bluetooth pairing remote has gone away. So it's now going to be a wired remote on the 5-channel. So you guys may like it, may not, but we kind of weighed it both ways. And
it really boils down to a reliability issue, and that I've always said this about Bluetooth. It's about convenience, not performance.
Yeah.
And there's been there are cases where Bluetooth will lose connectivity, and just like a Bluetooth set of headphones may stutter or drop in and out when connected to your device, the same thing could happen with the Bluetooth remote. So it was really a convenience call on our part. You're not going to have a problem with the remote maybe not working if there's a lot of noise. Or
then of course there's the battery issue. I mean, you got to power them some way. Even though it was a big CR2450 battery, it had a life expectancy.
Right.
You do have to replace occasionally.
We actually look at that as a step forward, not a step backwards, because it's going to work every time you reach down for the knob. So that's a good thing. You've got to run a wire, but it's not a big deal.
We're always about cutting edge technology, but if it just doesn't make sense or isn't the way the market's going, we'll reevaluate and we'll adjust. We listen to you guys. Your input's always important.
So what do you got for release dates on all those, John?
I'm still looking at March. The end of the first quarter. Beginning of second quarter.
I've got Q2 on my latest sheet, so I would say this is definitely a March-April timeframe, just like the KMA amplifier. So look for these in your dealer's store or online, hopefully March-April timeframe. And a quick rundown on the pricing. We've got that 1202, which is the big amplifier, UMAP on that, and again, UMAP is what I'm quoting on all these. $629.95 on that puppy. The 808 is going to be $699.95. The 905 is going to be $699.95. Then you get into the 804, that's going to be $549.95. Get down into the 504, that's going to be $449.95. Finally into the 402, that's going to have a UMAP of $349.95, and that covers the entire amplifier lineup, because the next item is one I can't talk about yet because we haven't even shown you what it is yet.
That was pretty sneaky.
Told you guys before, when it comes to new products, we are going to start releasing all that stuff through the KICKER Unmasked live events, and we will have special events through the year where we're actually talking about new product that's coming. So I know this is a recap of the stuff we showed you was coming for 2021. We were open to have all this stuff Q1, Q2. That's kind of how we used to do the SEMA releases, Q1, Q2. There's going to be some new products coming too, and we'll tell you about them when we're close enough that we can start talking about it. It'll be before it hits the stores.
So there is a positive, result from this COVID thing.
There is. It's opened up a whole new channel for us to communicate with you, and it's been working so well, guys, that we're going to keep this up. And we're going to bring you the new products here on the KICKER Unmasked Live. You will be the guys in the know. You can tell people that you found out about it, because I can guarantee you're going to find out about the new products well in advance before it actually hits our dealer shelves. And then as we get closer, we'll let you know that it's actually going out there, because we'll do another recap show over this. As we get closer to these products actually getting into our dealer stores, we're going to give you updates on the show and let you know they're out there. So with that said, I know it's probably not the funnest thing to talk about and people often ignore, but you got to have wire to make this stuff work. It's really not an accessory, it's a component. It's just...
Yeah, and we've stressed that for years, if someone comes to me and they've got $800 to spend, I'm not going to sell them an $800 subwoofer amplifier and send them out the door because they can't use it without any connections.
You can't.
You need to step them down to maybe the 600-watt amplifier and the correct power kit. I mean, not only does it have to be a good power kit, it's got to be the correct one that will actually provide the proper current and is built properly. And we've talked about this. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but if you haven't, do not use CCA wire. What is CCA wire, Kip? What exactly is that?
CCA is basically copper-covered aluminum, guys. And what's going on here in the world of wire is CCA wire is an aluminum core, and then they put a coating of copper. It's like flashing gold over the top of something. The core may be pop metal, but you put some gold flash over the top of it. It's gold, but it's not solid gold.
Plated.
It's plated. And that's the same thing happening with CCA wire. It's plated. It's copper that's plated over an aluminum core. Now, without getting into any names and drawing things out, and I know a lot of guys will make their decision using their back pocket, but if you look at the science of it, it really boils down to aluminum and aluminum alloys. They're used to make wire. On the resistivity scale, they're considered somewhere between a 0.59 and a 0.61. And if you look at solid copper is considered a 1 on the resistivity scale.
So that's like 40% better.
It's 40% better no matter how you
Cut
slice
and dried.
it. And the thing is, we're not saying aluminum is bad per se. There are some things you can run to with aluminum, like soldering it can be a problem. The corrosion.
It's impossible on aluminum.
Yeah, it's next to impossible. The corrosion on aluminum actually is an insulator, so it actually keeps current from flowing through it. Aluminum's used in home applications, businesses, they'll use it. And they'll use it for weight or they'll use it for cost savings, but they'll run a wire that's 3 times bigger than what you would normally do in a copper wire to run the same amount of current safely. And so that's really what we're looking at here is when you're looking at CCA wire versus copper wire, understand if you've got a fixed amount of current you want to draw through that wire, it's going to take 2.5 times the gauge or size of what you're using in copper to get that same current capacity safely in an aluminum or a CCA covered wire.
So that
it's
cost
not
savings?
about brand.
Yeah,
it's pure science, guys. So even, and Ernie, if you'll move up to the next slide, you'll bring up the value kit slide for me there. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. And that kind of ties in, I think, where John was going with this. We kind of get on the same wavelength on stuff. Is our value kits are not CCA or copper covered aluminum wire. They are
pure oxygen-free copper.
Pure oxygen-free copper. So that's it. Go through the kits, John. We always promote using solid copper wire. You are never, ever, ever going to help yourself using CCA.
Yeah, or the wrong gauge wire, period.
Both. Neither one's a good place to be.
So you start looking at, all the components that are in these value kits. I mean, that's what the VK value kit, and obviously the VK8 is the 8 gauge. You're going to get your power wire, ground wire, remote wire. You're going to get wire ties. You're going to get, a value-added fuse holder. It's still a great little fuse holder, but just, it's a little bit smaller, in size than our conventional fuse holders. But still, you get everything you need. And kind of the one thing that I really like to see in our power kits, and I don't know if there's any other vendors doing this, and I'm going to toot my own horn because I complained until they finally did it. That's grommets in these kits for the power wire. How many times have you been putting in an amplifier on a Sunday and you got to go through a firewall and you've got a 1/0 or a 4-gauge wire and you need a grommet? Well, you can't run down to the auto parts store and get one of those grommets. So now you got to wait till your auto store, opens up on Monday and go get the grommets. So these actually come with the grommets as well. So you got plenty of power wire. You get 16.5 feet of power wire, 2.5 feet of ground wire, 19 feet of remote wire, a 16-foot RCA cable. So it's not a twisted pair, but it's still a very good quality RCA cable. And of course your fuse and your fuse holder. And that's in the 8-gauge kit, and identical features in the 4-gauge kit. It's just bigger wire.
So are those available now or close?
I say January. What month is this?
This is January.
So I'd say, I'm guessing that they're out there in the warehouse right now.
Maybe we ought to run out and take a look, see if they're on the shelves.
Yeah, get somebody behind the scenes, go back and grab one, like we have over here.
The VK8 kit, which is the 8-gauge kit and comes with everything John told you about there, that kit's going to have an MSRP of $59.95. And then the VK6, which is the slightly bigger wire kit, which is good. I think we're rating that good for up to 1,000 watts, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think
6-gauge is good for up to 1,000 watts at that distance or that length.
Because in 4-gauge, we're getting 15. So.
Right. So you're looking at $74.95 on that kit, and it is solid copper. It's not copper-covered aluminum. It's a great kit, and one of the benefits.
You're right, 1,000 watts.
I thought it was 1,000 watts. Good memory test there. And one of the other benefits, guys, is if you're buying a KICKER amplifier at the same time. So if you're buying an amp, you obviously need a wire kit to go with it. Shop and get what works for you. But if you decide to go with the KICKER wire kit, understand you're getting all the accessories that John talked about. You're getting solid oxygen-free copper wire, which is a great thing. And we extend the amplifier warranty out on our amplifiers for an additional year.
For another year.
For another year. And the reason we do that is because we have all the data here from the ER. It doesn't stand for the emergency room. It's electronic repair. But ER, we do all of our...
Could be the emergency room for your electronics.
It could be. See, it is the emergency room for electronics. But we do all repairs here, and I'll tell you guys, the vast majority of the time, guys having problems. Sometimes we get amplifiers in, there's absolutely no problem with it found at all. It goes through all the testing. Our guys up in customer service or in ER will finally reach out and get a chance to talk to the customer and find out that they're using CCA wire or they're using undersized wire. And we simply say, hey, upgrade to the right size wire, make sure you're using solid copper, and your problem's going to go away, because the problem we're seeing here, there isn't one, but the problem you're describing sounds just like an amplifier that's starved for current. And that's what happens if you use undersized wire, or if you use CCA wire and you're taking it out to the limit, it's not going to flow as much current as the copper.
And the other thing is, when it starts, inhibiting current flow, the voltage drops, and then you start stressing out the components inside the amplifier, the power supply and the output devices, and that's usually where your amplifier failures come from. One, improper matching to the speaker, improper gauge of wire, and then improper type of wire.
True, very true on all those. So moving along, I know Ernie doesn't have a slide on this, so he gets a break, but Ernie, if you will queue up and get ready for the next one, that would be the Comp R subwoofer, if you'll get that one
actually,
queued
Kip,
up.
I think we're going to interrupt you real quick. We're going to talk about something else. See, my notes have got something different.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to go there.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm just giving Ernie a heads up.
Okay.
Because he's a little slow. He's been on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're right. We got to make him work a little bit.
He said he was sick. Rump. But get the Comp R slide ready, because that's what we're moving to after this. So real quick, John, we also do a higher end line of power kits in the marine side.
Yes.
And so just touch on it real briefly, what we've got there.
Yeah, just like your car power kits, we've got complete power kits for your boat. Now, what's interesting about the marine kits is you get 20 feet of power wire and 20 feet of ground wire. Why do you get the same amount of ground wire as you do power wire, Kip?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and go, most boats are made of this thing called fiberglass. And
some of them are wood,
not a great conductor of electricity.
Yeah, that's not a conductor at all.
No, it doesn't conduct anything. So I'm going to put that power kit up. So Tim, there you go, Tim. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tim. And Kip. So if you notice, like I say, the colors are different. And why are the colors different? And you'll notice on this that you've got some certifications, ABYC, which is American Boating and Yacht Council, and the NMMA, which is the National Marine Manufacturers Association.
Yes.
These kits are certified to be safe to put in a boat, even at the production level. So OEM boat makers can use this product and know that they're going to be safe to use, they're going to be, spark resistant, they're going to handle the current, they're not going to corrode or deteriorate. And like I say, you've got plenty of power wire and ground wire, because a lot of times boats, you got to run wire longer than you do in a car, because you got to go up around the front to go, because you can't just tuck it under the carpet, because they're usually fiberglass. It's hard to tuck wire under fiberglass. So something else that's interesting, if you notice the fuse holder, and I actually have one of the fuse holders right here in my hand. This is called an MRBF fuse holder. This is not a conventional car audio fuse. This is a little MRBF fuse I'm going to pull out here, not to waste too much time on the fuse, but these are really cool. This is a completely sealed fuse. So this fuse, if it blows, will not emit a spark and ignite fumes in a boat. So that's why these are marine rated. So this bolts right to the terminal of the battery. The fuse actually drops in, and then you would take your ring terminal, your power wire, and bolt it directly to the top post of the battery.
So hold it right there, John. Don't move. I know that Tim will come over and slap you if you move it around one more time. The thing that's cool about this, anyone who's ever followed car audio or talks about stuff, there always used to be a standard. We want to have the fuse within 12 to 18 inches of the battery. And in the marine environment, they actually cut that distance down to 7 inches.
Yeah.
They do not want anything from the positive terminal of the battery coming into contact with the negative terminal of the battery, because unfortunately, out in a boat, and you're dealing with an area where fumes that are combustible can get accumulated. If you have a spark, it will explode. It's just reality.
In fact, you have to have marine-rated alternators that are sealed too. You can't put a car alternator hit.
Spark suppressed alternator. So the cool thing about this, and what John's pointing out here, is that fuse is totally sealed. When that fuse blows, if you have a problem and that fuse has to blow for overcurrent, or if your amplifier has a problem or there's a dead short, whatever it may be, that fuse is going to pop and protect, but it's not going to have any external spark to ignite those fumes that could be down in your boating area, in the hull or down in the bilge area. So it's really cool, exciting. We're I think we're one of the first companies really putting them together into kits, and these are available now.
We didn't invent these, but we basically piggybacked on it.
We didn't invent the fuse, but we invented our system to go around it.
Yeah, the fuses are actually available from 20 to 200 amps, or 300 amps.
300 amps.
Yeah, so you got a lot of capabilities for fuse. Now, can I use this in my car, Kip?
Sure.
In fact, I like using these in car installs because you don't have to worry about where to mount a fuse holder. It bolts right to the battery.
Works really well for that.
If you're doing an excess power battery that's got the terminals that you screw down rather than the big battery binding posts,
right.
These things work great. So I actually use these in most of my high-end car audio installs too.
Okay, guys, real quick update here. I'm looking at 3 different things at the same time, trying to keep up. We're at 8:09. You got 21 minutes to get in on the drawing. So if you haven't hit that link, I know Bill will put it up there for you again and they'll show it, but you've got 21 minutes to get into the drawing for the prizes tonight.
Tell them what they're going to win. In case
I'm not telling them. We're running behind, so we're going to have to get going here.
That's because you talk too much.
Yeah, I know. So, real quick, those marine kits, those upgraded kits that come with the power in the ground, they're color-coded for the marine environment thing. We do those in an 8-gauge and a 4-gauge, and you're looking, the 8-gauge kit is $119.95, and you're looking at the 4-gauge kit is $199.95. And that seems like a real value. I mean, $199.95 to get your both runs, hot and ground, the fuse and all that stuff, yeah. That's a deal.
And it's safe. It won't blow up and kill you dead.
So we hope. Ernie, move us over to Comp R, if you will, sir. John, tell us what we got going on in the new Comp R
woofers. If you look at them real closely, you probably notice they don't look a lot different. They're, cosmetically a little darker, which, we kind of like dark and sinister. I love the looks of these speakers.
Sure.
But what we've done with the Comp R is we've actually incorporated something called forced air cooling. Now, forced air cooling is where we're going to actually force air around the voice coil and out the back plate of the speaker. In fact, this forced air cooling on the Comp R gives it 25% better cooling than last year's Comp R, which basically translates into a lot more durability. They're going to be a lot more, and I still don't recommend you abuse your speakers, but, should you happen to get a little crazy, these are going to give about 25% better resistance to, burning a voice coil. So we haven't changed the power ratings. They look meaner with that darker color with the red. I absolutely love them, and they've got much better cooling characteristics with that forced air cooling out the back.
The thing and the reason we didn't change the power ratings on these drivers, guys, is they do take power longer and they do run cooler longer, but we did not change the power ratings, and this is why. One of the things you run into in any speaker is you get what's called power compression. As you play a speaker and the copper voice coil windings start getting hot, the impedance starts to rise. And as you know, if I've got an amplifier and it sees a 4 ohm load, and then all of a sudden that amplifier sees a 6 ohm load, it puts out less power. Or if it sees a 7 ohm load, it's putting out less power. And if you're putting out less power, it's not as loud. So
louder, longer.
Yeah, louder, longer is really the benefit to what we're doing here. So this advanced cooling that we're doing, where we're actually controlling and forcing the air to actually cool around the former, is giving us louder, longer run times. Yes, it is more reliable, but it's also going to play louder for a longer period of time because you're going to experience less power compression, and that's really a big deal right there.
Consistent output.
Consistent. And of course, those are going to be available in everything from an 8-inch to a 15-inch driver.
Dual voice coil.
They come in dual voice coil, either a dual voice coil 2 ohm or a dual voice coil 4 ohm, and I'm going to run down the pricing here for you real quick. Size and impedance doesn't matter. The price is the same, so I'm not going to say it for both impedances. So in a 15, we're looking at a UMAP of 269. In a 12, we're looking at a UMAP of 149. In a 10, we're looking at a UMAP of 129. And finally, for the 8, we're looking at a UMAP of 99.95. And that's the entire new Comp R subwoofer lineup. When are they going to be available, John?
I've got those things going to be available, does it say January right here? I actually turned the page. It says available January. Some ready to ship, available January.
Some ready to ship, available January. So pretty close. We should see these out here pretty soon. Matter of fact, they probably may have been unloading some today. Then,
yeah, with as much stuff that's going through that warehouse right now, which is awesome.
It is awesome. So Comp R, new subwoofer for this year. There's actually new enclosures. We'll get to those in just a second because we're going to run through all the woofers first. So we're doing this in a little bit different order than we did at the original UnMASKed show, so apologize for that.
And a different order than you and I talked about earlier, but that's okay.
Absolutely. So we're going to move right on. The next one would be Comp RT.
And what's different about the Comp RT? Same thing. The cosmetic changes, they're a little darker. I really like like that look, but they also have that forced air cooling, which on the Comp RT is going to give you 20% better cooling capacity than the previous version. So definitely is a significant change to the last year's drivers. They don't look a lot different, but performance, like I say, they're definitely a cut above.
Definitely a cut above. So the Comp RT, basically, it's just got the advanced cooling technique that we've looked into. Same thing as the Comp R. So the RT is just an upgrade with this new advanced cooling. Same thing. It's going to play louder, longer, less power compression, and they're going to be more reliable at that.
Now, Kip, are these available in the same sizes as the Comp R?
These are available in, no, they're not. I'm glad you asked. So on these drivers, we've got started a 12-inch, and we work our ways down to the typical, and the typical size is down to a 6 3/4. So these are going to be available in dual voice coil, 2 ohm or 4 ohm. So same dual voice coil options in both 4 ohm or 2 ohm capability. And you're looking at, starting at the 12, we're looking at $219.95 as UMAP on that. Move down to a 10, we're at $189.95. Move down into the 8, we're at $159.95. And then finally into the 6 3/4, we're at $109.95.
That 6 3/4 is an awesome speaker. 150 watts power handling. It is a great woofer. But more importantly, talking about the performance, even though they're a slim, line woofer, you're not going to sacrifice performance in these drivers. You get all the output of the Comp R. It's just in a more compressed profile. So you're not skipping on bass just because you're skipping on depth.
No, and the Comp RT woofer is a fantastic choice if you're looking for some type of a quote-unquote mid-bass driver to go in your front door applications or your side bay applications, like your car. The 6 3/4 Comp RT and the 8-inch Comp RT are great options for that as well. So with that said, John, availability on that?
Availability, yeah, pretty much the same thing, yep.
Same thing, so now.
Most ready to ship now.
Yeah, most are ready to ship now, so these should be out in your dealers right now, which is a good thing. If not, they're going to be there really, really quick. So what's your next product?
Enclosures, we got to have the enclosures for them.
So what's the next enclosure?
Comp R enclosure, you've got a 12-inch, both dual 12-inch and a single hatchback variety. Okay. Vented out the front, better coupling with the port mounted on the front of the enclosure. And of course, we've got the 10-inch enclosure as well.
And on those the dual 10, on those Comp R enclosures, what do you have for release date?
I've got most ready to ship now, January.
That's what I'm showing here right now too. Actually, my sheet says CES 2021, which would be last week. So these are probably
there
in
was
the warehouse.
No CES, so does that mean they're not
coming? It was digital.
Okay, well.
This is kind of taking place at CES for everyone who's watching. This is our version of a CES for everyone else out there.
This is consumer CES.
Yeah, this is consumer CES. That's a good thing. And on those, the Comp R load enclosures, we do have the 3 models, as John stated.
Dual 10, dual 12, and single 12-inch hatchback.
Correct. The dual 12, you're looking at a UMAP of $429. The single 10, we're at $379. And then last but not least, the single 12, we're looking at $279.
That's a lot of bass for the buck.
That is a lot of bass for the buck. And the Comp R, the Comp R, I use the word legendary. The Comp R is just an everyday animal. I mean, it's a great woofer. It's got a lot of excursion capability. It's very efficient. You don't have to have a lot of power for it to sound good in your vehicle.
But if you have it, it loves it.
If you have it, it loves it. But you don't need to have a ton of power to make a Comp R sound good, which is nice. So with that said, what do you got next?
Well, of course, we've got enclosures built with those Comp R woofers, and we've got the TRTP enclosures, which were introduced a little over a year ago, which are the downward firing boxes, and they've got that unique flat woofer. What do you want to say about that little flat woofer thing? I think I might have one right here.
You're not, John.
Let's give it a,
Okay, well, that's for 2023. That's our new pancake
Yeah,
size.
That's the ultra flat woofer. You get no magnet, no motor structure whatsoever. But it has a ton of output, and if you guys have ever heard these boxes, you might actually believe that, because this does add a lot of output. It actually gives you the performance of a ported box without
a port.
Yeah, without a port. No port noise either.
Exactly.
And better control over the woofer. But if you guys didn't know, we do offer these passive radiators for sale.
Hey, someone just posted a comment up there, and I want to tie into that. I will agree with that completely. When we were first doing, there it is, just bought the downfiring 10-inch box from Weiss SUV. It sounds way bigger than what it is. Okay. I could not agree with you on that statement any more than that, Daniel. When I was first listening to these, they had the 10-inch in the back of it was like it was a Toyota SUV. I swore it was a pair of 12s back there. I mean, it sounds much fuller and richer than what its size tells you.
Yeah, in fact, the first one I put in was for a gentleman that the first thing he told me is, I want a lot of it. He said, I don't want 2 12s. I want all my, room in mine for him. First thing he said, he started getting mad. He said, I told you I didn't want a pair of 12s in the back taking up all the room. I opened up the back and he looked at it and said, that's it? It was just that single 10 downward firing box, and heck, I threw his toolbox on top of it too.
Well, we kind of showed in the original Unmasked the guys getting up and standing on them and jumping. They are built very well. They have window bracing inside. They have corner gussets. These are very well built boxes. The Comp RT, what do you got for release date on the new Comp RT and the TRTP?
I've got January on the TRTBs.
Okay.
And of course, we also have the truck style.
And so let me cover the TRTPs real quick. These are the down firing, the first ones that John covered, and these use the RT woofer. We've got the 12, the 10, and the 8, and those are $299 for the 12, $279 for the 10, and $249 for the 8. And that's going to get you that down fired loaded enclosure wrapped in that high durability carpet we're known for. The really nice tooled custom terminals that we make for push connections on the side. That's actually our own design. We just don't do anything off the shelf. You get the passive radiator. It's tuned. They sound fantastic. No port noise. Very durable, take up very little bit of room. But if you're dealing with behind the seat of a truck or some other situation where you can't do a downfire, that would be the next one, which would be the Comp RTs, John.
Yep, the TCW RT enclosures, which those are available from 6.5 to a 12.
Correct, 6.5 to 12.
And once again, they're the wedge style to fit behind the seat of your truck or underneath the back seat. They sound killer, and once again, like he said, they sound bigger than they really are. It's very deceiving when you listen to one and figure out that, hey, man, all that's coming out of that little box.
It is pretty amazing, all that comes out of that little box. So these, I think, are the same thing. These are available now, correct?
Yes.
Pretty close now? Yeah.
Yep.
So we're looking at these. These were CES 2021, so they're probably in the barn shipping or real close to it. These, if they aren't in your dealer right now, they will be very soon on the Hey, thanks for that pick, Ernie. That's fantastic. Thank you. And those we're looking at, like John said, these are available in 12, a 10, an 8, and a 6 3/4.
And we didn't even originally plan to make it the 6 3/4, but we had such overwhelming response, with the 8, and we listened.
It's that little 6 3/4, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that 6 3/4 is a 15 pounding on your head. I'm not going to give you that. But what I will say, the 6 3/4, I've heard it in a couple different vehicles. I've heard it in some situations where it can fit underneath the front seat. Yeah. I've heard it underneath the rear seat of a truck. And if you're just looking for a good amount of smooth bottom end bass, but you're not looking to
balance it out,
especially a factory system or an aftermarket radio with stock power, that's a fantastic little driver. But you're looking at that from the bottom down, or from the top down. On the 12, you're looking at $299.95. On the 10, you're at $279.95. You're looking at $229.95 for the 8. And last but not least, that little 6 box. I wish we had one here to show it, because
it's cute.
It's cute. It's $169.95. That's a really cute looking box.
I thought I saw one over there.
Maybe we find a break.
We might find it later.
We'll find a way to get one up there. So that covers.
That little passive looks like a donut.
Right. It does.
I've eaten bigger donuts than that.
It's the Homer Simpson. So that covers the new Comp RT, which has the advanced cooling, the forced air cooling that we've incorporated into those drivers, and the enclosures that are going to have those available in them for 2021. And so available now, hit your Kicker dealer. Those should be ready to go. But we're not done. What do you got next, John?
Well, it's not a new woofer. We got the Comp VR enclosures. So, we try to make, our woofers available in enclosures all the time. And we had Comp VR enclosures a couple years ago, but for some reason they kind of lost popularity. I don't know what happened there, if it was just, the timing in the market.
Right.
But we had enough people saying, hey, bring those things back. And so we did. We brought back the Comp VR enclosures. We have a dual 12-inch enclosure, and we also have a hatchback 12-inch vented enclosure. The vents are on the front. Once again, better mutual coupling with the driver. They look great. They sound great. They're pretty much available right now. I know you're going to ask me, so I'll tell you, they're available in January, and it's January.
Of course I'm going to ask you, Don. So those are available now. They should be available this time frame. And as far as pricing goes, and I'll reiterate again, because I know we get people come into the feed, come in and out. The pricing we're giving you, this is UMAP pricing. This is not what you may or may not pay at a Kicker dealer. This is simply the universal price that Kicker advertises. That's an MSRP. It's what the value of the driver is. So visit your local Kicker dealer, work out a deal, whichever you want to get. But the dual 12 is going to have a UMAP of $399.95, and the single 12 is going to be $249.95. Available in your dealers now, so go check them out. What else you got, John?
We have another enclosure. So if you guys are familiar with shallow mount woofers, you'll remember the CVT or the Comp VT woofer. We've introduced shallow downward firing enclosures for the VT as well. They're available in both a 10 and a 12, down firing, very ultra compact box. So great tight clean bass from a small enclosure. And you're giggling to yourself over here.
Oh
so
no, I'm reading some of the feed in here. I try, trust me, we try to look at all these comments and try to get a response back. We try, guys, but we get so many comments. So I was just chuckling because I'm trying to, some of those were funny. I might post a few up up here, but it's good to get that feedback from you guys. We certainly appreciate it. So keep going, John.
All right, well, also available January, and it is, of course, they don't, my paper doesn't say what year January, but I'm assuming they're meaning this year and now.
Well, since we don't have a time machine that I'm aware of, I'm hoping it's 2021.
And that would we're talking about products for 2021, and how much are these, the 10 and the 12 inch?
So we got the 12 and the 10 inch, and that would be the 12 is going to have a UMAP at $249.95, and the CVT DF, which stands for downfiring, the 10 inch model, is going to be $229.95.
And that's all the new enclosures we have, right? That's the myriad of.
That's not, no. In case you haven't figured out, folks, we do make a lot of enclosures, and we sell a lot of enclosures, and they are all, application specific, price point specific. I don't want to run a real big amplifier, but I want great bass in my car. Sounds like you're a comp customer. I want a little more power, and I want a little more bump. Maybe you're a comp VR customer.
Maybe you're a quad customer.
Maybe a quad.
Remember that one.
Shout out to Robert and Brandon at D&B and
absolutely.
Big D, because the quad giveaway we did. And trust me, folks, we're going to come up with another big giveaway like that, and we'll do that in an upcoming show. We'll come up with something that'll run for a little bit longer time, but we're going to do another big drawing like that, so don't think that we have forgotten you. We're going to do something big and bold, and we'll get involved with one of those guys out there to do that with. But that said, we do have one more.
I have to say, should we throw out one more enclosure that we've got?
One more, because this is actually the one I'm looking at. Believe it or not, I want to get it for my own wife's car. So
yeah,
go ahead.
That's the comp downward firing enclosure.
There you go.
So it's the comp woofer. It's where we start in woofers. Like I say, it's not an entry-level woofer. It's kind of the woofer that started everything back in 1986. It's just now got 35 years of technology behind it.
Exactly.
Still an unbelievable value, and we're going to have that downward firing enclosure available in a 12 and a 10. It's compact. It's efficient. It sounds great, and it's affordable.
It's very affordable. And the key, and guys, I know everyone likes to talk about big power, and it's fun to talk about big subs, and it's fun to talk about big power, but on an everyday basis for someone who's just looking for great sound in their car, and you don't want a great big heavy subwoofer or box or big amplifier or big power wire, and that then leads to the conversation of upgraded alternators and extra additional batteries. That's why a product like Comp exists, because you can take a Comp enclosure, you can put it on 100 to 200 watts of power in that range, and it's going to sound fantastic in the car. No, it's not 165 dB for all those guys out there who are true bass heads, but it's going to give you great sounding bass in the car, definitely up into that high 130s to probably mid 140s level. No problem at all. It's going to sound great in the car, and you don't have to have a lot of big power to make it happen.
And I don't think I can stress enough about our enclosures. People joke about, it's a prefab enclosure. These are beyond a prefab enclosure. We manufacture them, but I've been building speaker boxes for 42 years, and the quality, the fit and finish of these, you can't duplicate it for the money. And something else that's very unique about these enclosures is the same engineer that designs the speaker designs the enclosure, so it's perfect bass every time. They are designed to work together. You can't get better than that.
No, and they do work very well together, and that is a valid point, that the guys who make the drivers are the same guys designing the boxes to make sure this all works as a tandem team. And so I'm looking here, this is one of those products. What do you got for a date there, John, on that Comp down?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at that page, but just like everything else, we're talking available in April. So
April. I've got Q2 here, so we're probably looking late Q1, which is March, or early Q2, which is April, May. Those new products should be hitting. The cool part about it is, like I said, and I don't mean this to sound a bad way, but this would be a great enclosure, and I mean that sincerely. I'm looking to get one for my wife's car, because I can get a 12-inch, and the UMAP on it's $150. That's in the box, woofer, carpeted.
That includes the woofer and the box?
Yeah, that's everything. I mean, hey Tim, did you get a close-up of that Comp box? Did you show the Comp downfiring box? I mean, it's $150.
Can't beat it.
No, and then if you need something slightly smaller, the 10-inch is only $129.95. So this is a value proposition. It's for someone who does want more bass than like a powered subwoofer enclosure may provide, or something smaller. They're looking to step up. They want to run 100 to 200 watts of power. They want a little more. These two products, and the fact that they're downfiring, they're durable. You can set stuff on top of them, so it'd be groceries, your toolbox, fishing box, tackle box.
So your local sticky-fingered neighbor doesn't lift it.
They're not going to go anywhere, hopefully.
Yeah.
So great product, but that is a newer product for us this year, so it's a little behind. We're looking, like he's saying, probably Q2, so March, April timeframe.
Something that popped in my mind when we were talking about the price of these, I'm thinking back, when we first started working here, that was about the price of the woofer back then.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, so now you're getting, a woofer with a lot more technology, better sound, more durable, and you're getting a matched enclosure. I mean, you can't ask for a better value.
Well, that's why, I mean, honestly, this is really the first time I've looked at the price sheet, and when I saw that was the price, I was like, man, that's a lot of value for $150.
It's like that dealer cost, did they screw up?
No, that's $150.
Wow.
So, what do you got next, John?
Well, we're going to talk speakers. We've done woofers. We've pretty much driven that horse right into the ground, and let's talk speakers, if you don't mind.
Hey, Ernie, if you will, I need the KSS 6x9 component set, and from the original Unmasked event where we told everyone or showed everyone these new products are coming for 2021, this is another one of the hot topics, was this two-way 6x9 component system. And, it's really cool because a lot of modern day cars today are using that. I call it a middler. That's my name for it. But it's really a 2.5 or 2 3/4 inch driver.
If you're German, it's a squawker.
A squawker.
Yep.
But a lot of these, they're a little bit bigger and they're up in the dash location, and it covers more than, a typical tweeter. You're looking at probably about 3K and up. It's pretty typical. You're looking at this driver here is much more full range. You're getting much more of that mid-range that can come up off of the glass and actually replace what the factory's put in there as an option and get you more of that sound. And I'll let John talk about it, but it's also got the bracketing system is patented. We've got patents.
Oh yeah, the bracket on these speakers is really incredible because, when you start talking about 2 3/4 inch driver, there's several manufacturers of vehicles that, we can talk brands. I mean, if you got a GM product, if you got a pickup, you got a Camaro, whatever, it's a 2 3/4 inch and a 6x9 in the door.
Right.
So a lot of your Toyotas, your Chryslers, your Jeeps, I mean, 2 3/4 inch, in the dash and a 6x9 in the doors. So this is a fantastic kit for that. But there are 3 different 2 3/4 inch sizes out there. So depending on which one you have, if you got a Jeep or if you got a GM or even some of the Fords out there, you actually have to have the basket that fits. So
correct.
This is one kit, one size fits all. All the brackets are there to fit all 3 different applications. And it's really cool. Like you say, it's patented, all designed completely in-house. I remember, working with the guys in R&D and, coming up with ideas how to mount them and sizes and shapes and getting examples, but the driver actually sandwiches between the 2 plates. So there's no screws in that speaker. If you notice that little 2 3/4, there are no mounting holes for that. It actually clamps into that little mounting bracket. So these things are great. They do come with a crossover between them. They sound killer. They drop in a lot of vehicles, and that 6x9 sounds impressive. It gives you a lot of bass up front, especially when coupled with a key amplifier. This product, this component set, coupled with a Key 200.4 is absolutely amazing sounding.
That is a good combination. And I'm going to cut you off there real quick, John. I want to stop you there, and I'll come back to that. I had a good question come up here. And before we get away from the enclosures too much, we got Deviant for Life. He's saying, what impedance do these come in? So I'm going to just backtrack here a little bit. On the comp downfiring enclosures, those, the 12 and the 10, both of those are available in 4 ohm variety. And then I'm going to back up down the page here a little bit. We're going to get into the Comp VT downfiring enclosures. Those are available in 2 ohm variety on the Comp VT downfiring enclosure, so 2 ohm. I'm going to back up a little bit more here. And thanks for asking that question. We didn't cover that, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, we assume you guys know all this automatically.
The Comp VR loaded enclosures, those are going to be 2 ohm. And these impedance I've given you, that's at the terminal cup. So if you take it out of the box, set it in your vehicle, and you hook speaker wires to the terminal cup, that's the impedance at the terminal cup that I'm giving you. I'm not talking about the impedance of the drivers inside. I'm talking about the impedance at the cup. The TRTP downfiring enclosures, those are all available in 2 ohm impedance. The Comp RT loader enclosures, those are the ones that can go in a thinner space behind the seat of a truck or something like that. Those are available all in 2 ohm impedance as well. Backing up here another page, get into the Comp R loaded enclosures. Comp R loaded enclosures across the board are all available in 2 ohm. That's the impedance on those. And I think that's everything, isn't it, John?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's all the loaded enclosures.
That's a lot of enclosures.
So basically 2 ohm across the board until you get down into the Comp, and then we do that one at a 4 ohm impedance down there. And then and I know you're getting ready to go to the Snowman. Before you get to the Snowman, Ernie, if you can, get the Snowman tweeter pod queued up and ready, but don't put it on the screen just yet. Thank you for that question, Deviant for Life. I appreciate that. That was a good one. I tried to keep up in the comment feed. It's really hard to, but that was a great question, and thank you for pulling that out. So so that helps everyone understand the impedance available in those.
The Seth up there, you said you really need this for my Tacoma.
Yes.
I completely forgot to mention that 6x9 woofer comes with the Toyota adapters, comes with the GM adapters, the Chrysler adapter. It comes with all the adapters in the box for whatever vehicle you have, whatever 6x9 you have.
Understand.
Just like our coaxes do. You know, the 6x9, 6 3/4, and 6.5 all come with the various adapters for the most popular vehicles.
So, John, I'm going to ask you the question. Those KS 6x9 two-way systems with the midler, what's that going to be available? When's it going to be available?
Well, soon, I hope, but I'm looking at probably June or July.
Yeah, I've got late Q2, so that's going to be April, May, June. So we're looking June, July. So that two-way 6x9 component system, we're looking June, July. There's always a chance it could come in earlier. Again, we try to be very realistic and optimistic on these frames of time because we would rather under-promise and over-deliver, but that's what we're looking at right now.
I say that backwards.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. Is it?
Wait, no.
Well, that's wrong.
And the cool part about those, that whole kit, with those adapters you're going to need to fit any of the different vehicles, the passive crossovers, everything, that full kit is only $249.95.
That's a steal.
At UMAP. So
that's 4 full speakers and crossovers.
And so you're looking at...
Any adapters?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 3 pair of the adapters.
Yep.
So that you can fit any of the different vehicles you've got to go with. So it's one box ready to go. You can
Which technically is 12 pieces.
True, 12 pieces. Mo's better, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mo gooda. So
that is the KSS 6x9 component. And then this one was actually, there were a lot of people that asked about this, more than I expected, and it's definitely getting a lot of attention, is the KSMT dual pod. And Ernie, when you get a chance, if you'll pull that up on the screen so people can get a look at that. Thank you, sir. And then just leave that up however long you need, move along to that. John, tell us about that KSMT pod.
This little pod is actually really cool because, if you've got a vehicle that, doesn't have any high frequencies in the dash or, tweeters up by the mirrors, and you want that soundstage, it's really important to bring that soundstage up high. And you do that, obviously, with good tuning and proper speakers, but speaker placement as well.
Right.
So this actually has an aluminum diaphragm 3-inch driver and a 1-inch silk dome tweeter. So it's in this very stylish little pod that actually mounts with just a single, basically, I think it's about a 1/2-inch diameter hole or maybe 7/16. But so you can mount this to the door panel, you can mount it to the pillar, wherever you need to mount it to bring that sound stage up. And hopefully we got Tim back there. He's getting ready to write some things up. If you look at this pod, it's very ergonomically shaped. They look great, they sound great. But there's a couple really cool features about this pod that you can't really see by the still picture. And as soon as Tim gets back on the camera over here, sorry, correction, that is a 2.5-inch driver, 3 inches all the way around. So here again, we don't necessarily know everything, but and sometimes I get it wrong.
And I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Just got a question here, and again, I'm trying to catch some stuff in the feed. It says, full of tank, can we get the squawkers alone? Depends on which ones you're talking about. The squawker that comes in the Snowman tweeter pod is exclusive to the Snowman tweeter pod.
Yeah, these do not come apart either.
No, they don't come apart. They are all together and ready to go. Now, the 2 3/4, and maybe I can get Timmy to give me a close-up on that, move away from John and give me a close-up down here. The 2 3/4 that comes in the kit with the 6x9s,
the KSC 275.
You can buy that midler by itself. It is a standard speaker in the KS speaker line, and you can't order or buy just a pair of those 2 3/4 in there. But understand, those 2 3/4 that come in the KS 6x9 kit and the one that comes separately as just the 2 3/4 driver is not the same speaker that's in this pod, because we couldn't fit it. We had to go down to a slightly smaller driver because we wanted to keep the size of this pod down as concise as possible, so it would work in these A-pillar dash door locations and not obstruct too much sight line. So it is a specific driver that's in this, and you can't take it apart. So go ahead and
And even something else I was just thinking about, I just did a vehicle not long ago. You can actually mount these in the kick panels.
Yes.
So you can actually screw it to the kick panel under the dash and then aim it wherever you want to. So that's another great thing. So if you look at the profile of this speaker, it's actually really cool. And you see this little mounting post. It does pivot on that post in any direction. So that's really cool in itself, isn't it, Kip? That you can actually aim it and pivot it. You can rotate it, whatever you need. But if you look at the front of this driver, if you notice the orientation of that pivot versus the tweeter, I can actually clock the tweeter any position I want as well.
And what's cool about that, besides being able to clock that, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a little rubber plug in the back that you can pull that plug, and once you get the clocking where you want it, you can reach in there with a screwdriver. I think it's Allen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an Allen, and lock it in place.
And lock it in place, and put that rubber plug back in, and then you've locked the clocking in there. So you can orient these any way you want. You can only pan and tilt the whole unit, but then you can clock the tweeter whichever orientation you need to fit the left side of the car, the right side of the car, tweeter up, tweeter to the side, whatever fits your application, whatever you like to do. That's very, very flexible. And this, even though it's one of the last products we're covering here in the show, this was one of the most requested, more information products that we had from the original Unmasked. It's a great concept for you to get your soundstage up off the floor of your car, away from your knees, and get more than just 3K and up. Here, you're getting a lot lower frequencies up in that area up there, like 800 hertz and up, if I remember right.
Actually, it's even lower than that.
It's even lower than that.
I think these down to about 350.
About 350. So, so we're looking at about that 350, 400 hertz range is what you're getting out of that as far as that whole pod. Fantastic product, but when are we going to see it, John?
Well, we got to talk about July is when you're going to see. Well, actually, you can see it here right now.
I can see it here right
but
now.
It's available in July.
Okay.
A couple other things we haven't even mentioned about these is the way the wires come out of here, they are capable of being bi-amped. So you do have a separate tweeter wire, separate mid wire. They do come with a passive crossover. And if you're going to couple these with a 2-channel amplifier with a set of door speakers, they even come with a bass blocker. So there's a two-way crossover between the tweeter and the mid-range. And then you do have a bass blocker for the mid-range, which you can use if you're not using an active crossover as well. So very well thought out. And you guys, I know you can't hear them, but you've got to realize that we're about sound quality. These things are extremely impressive. They sound great. For those guys that doubt, that Kicker speakers sound good, I don't think you're going to be doubting anymore once you hear them. They absolutely sound incredible.
They do sound incredible. They're fantastic sounding. The fact they come with a passive crossover means that this is an option you can add it straight to your OEM or factory system.
Even if you don't have an amplifier.
Even if you don't have an amplifier, you can add it to your aftermarket radio, even if you don't have an amplifier. And the fact that it's bi-ampable means this is also another prime candidate for the key.
Yep, you can actually run a couple different ways. You could actually run the key just to these.
Yes.
So run high pass, low pass, the key to this the way it is, and completely, throw away the passive crossover, or use the passive crossover and use the key to power these on amp 1, and then your factory door speakers, your upgraded door speakers on amp 2.
Guys, I know, the Kicker Unmasked Live here, we typically talk, we have special guests in, we talk about the products, pricing, the cool stuff, the kind of the rock stars of the industry. A lot of things we don't touch on here, and in the future we'll touch on more of it, but it's, actually hands-on application and the different ways you can use this product, because this can be used more than just one way, as you can tell from us talking about. There's lots of ways you can incorporate this in your vehicle.
I'm sure we haven't even thought of them all.
Yeah, there's probably more than we know of. But keep in mind, we'll cover more of those things in the future. If there's a topic, something specific like that you'd like to drill down on, be sure you throw that out at us at social@kicker.com, because we'd love to have those ideas. But then on a day-to-day basis, we've got 5 guys that work the phones upstairs 9 to 5 Central Time here every day. If you have an application, whether you own the product or you don't own the product, maybe it's a pre-sales question. Hey, how do I use this? How do I incorporate my car? What other products do I need? Give the guys a call up there. Just call in it's 405-624-8510. We actually have human beings that answer the phone. It's not just pre-recorded messages.
Or support@kicker.com.
Yep. Or you can email, support@kicker.com. But you can actually call in and talk to a person. I mean, we will put you in touch with one of our 5 techs upstairs. Those guys know their game. They can answer those pre-sale questions, or if you've already picked something up, they can answer those post-sale questions.
Troubleshooting as well. They're very good at troubleshooting.
Very good at troubleshooting. And they're available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And maybe I can get Bill to post that number up again in a ticker banner at the bottom. But feel free to call anytime, whether you're just looking to figure out what you need to buy, or you've got a handful of stuff and you're trying to figure out what to do with it. Don't forget that we offer tech support here 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Did they finally disconnect that old tech support number?
I don't know. I'm not even going to ask.
You want to allude to that one?
No.
What number that changed into?
Ixnay on the OwnFalK. No.
Well, if you guys been with Kicker a long time, you may have heard that story, which is not a story. It was actually true.
Unfortunately, I get the task of keeping things in control, and I cannot let John go there. So we'll leave it at that. But
dang it.
If I happen to run into any of you at a show, and we have a few adult beverages, ask, and there's a real funny story behind it, but that not for public consumption here. So we're looking at these late Q2, you said?
Yeah, we're probably talking early July on these.
Early July on the KSMT.
But they're going to be well worth the wait.
They'll be worth the wait, and those are going to carry a UMAP pricing of $299.95, so $300 basically. No, not bad at all.
Not bad at all for a real quality set of components.
And that's what you see, plus the passive crossovers that you don't see, because those are the separate pieces. But it comes with all the passive crossovers that you need to make these work in any of the applications John and I might touch. And trust me, we haven't touched them all. Questions, give us a shout out at tech support at kicker.com or give us a call because we'd love to answer those questions. Now,
the big one.
What I'm going to do, hey Ernie?
We're going to let you do this one.
No, you're going to do this one. What I need you to do, Ernie, if you can, we'll talk here till you can get it. I'd love for you to show that video that we brought down earlier. So if you could bring that video up, Ernie, and let it play. There you go. We can talk over it. So guys, we know that a lot of you out there, this is what you want to know, this is what you want to talk about. This is the new L7X. The video footage you're watching right now, this is footage that we shot in one of our test labs here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, here at Kicker. And that woofer you're looking at there, if I remember right, that's a 12 that we put down on the floor for 10. You can see it's not in a box, it's just sitting there. And we were running approximately, I think, I don't want to lie to you folks, but we were using a QSC PLX 2500. And if you look at a 2500 and what we were running there, it's about 1200 watts of power. So nowhere, not even getting close to what we're rating that driver at.
Notice the speaker bouncing up and down.
Yeah, the whole speaker's trying to bounce up off the floor.
That's some power.
But this is actually some video we shot. We actually put a shout out to Andy McGill, who started the Kicker Club. We actually posted that in his club so the guys there could get a look at this.
Yeah, which is a fun site if you guys aren't, a member of Kicker Club.
Yeah, it's part of Facebook, but Andy McGill started Kicker Club. It's great.
Thank you, Andy. That's
Thanks,
a lot of
Andy.
fun.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But this is the L7X, giving you a little workout there. This driver is going to be capable of somewhere in the realms of about 3 inches-ish. Maybe just a little bit more of that peak-to-peak excursion on that driver. It is going to be a serious, not just SPL, this is going to be a fantastic sounding driver. I can tell you, I'm that crazy nut job. I'm a cardio guy, and I started in cardio when I was young, probably about 12 years old, dinking and playing. I know John started when he was young. Electronics and car audio, and in here, we're still 12. But,
Reacted.
But, I love audio in general. I love video, I love audio, and so I've actually gravitated into doing a lot, and for me, a lot more home audio and video. And I can tell you, these are on my plate for a home subwoofer. I can't wait to get about 4 of these.
I thought I was the only one that was thinking that.
Oh, no. You're not the only.
I've actually designed the entertainment center with these actually in the bottom of the entertainment center in the house.
You're not the only nut job here, John. I'm crazy, too.
You going 15s, too?
I definitely want 15s. I would love to have a. Wait, I can't talk about that. Well, I can't talk. I can't talk about that.
Bad kid.
They are. Here, tell me what sizes these are available in, John. Tell me what we got
they're
coming.
They're available in this size. No, they're going to be available in 10, 12, and 15-inch dual voice coil, dual 1 or dual 2 ohm coils. These things are, what's really exciting about this driver is like the original Solo X driver, they're field serviceable. So you can actually replace the voice coil and cone assembly without glue, without soldering, right in the field. So they're field serviceable, should you happen to be in a competition and damage one, or you need to change the impedance to get into a different category. That hyper extended pole piece, and this really epitomizes the true art of forced air cooling.
It does.
I think at 2,000 watts of power, which is what we're rating these speakers to handle, I think they're still only at 60% of their thermal capacity. It's really impressive how well that forced air cooling works. And if you're really going to wire this thing up, it's got the push button spring binding posts, and it's got dual 8-gauge set screw terminal blocks. So for any serious competitor, make sure you get good wire and good connections. These drivers are great. Dual spider construction. That 12 is what, 63, 65 pounds? Something
I think it's right around 65, 66 pounds on the 12.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And you notice, the cone, 3mm thick cone and surround. It's one heck of a driver. And if Kicker's going to come out with another, big driver SPL woofer up, we're going to do it right.
I'm going to bring this up because he's not the only one that. So I got Brad here saying, can't wait for the finalized specs on these. I have a home waiting on some 15s. I have a home waiting on some 15s. When I say home, I literally mean home, not my car. I want them in my home.
That's what we were talking about.
But here's the deal on these guys, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for the information. And yes, it's by design. We do the L7X last because we know a lot of you are really tuned into this, so we want you to see the whole line, or at least give us some time. So shame on us. Whoops. But some things we can't talk about. If you've tuned into the original UnMASKED last live show, you know, there were a lot of TBDs and we weren't sure on some certain things. So here's where we're at right now. If I could get my camera guy, Tim, to zoom in on the spare, and that's the thing sitting down on the table there.
What's that stand for, Kip, by the way? Do you remember?
I call it the spare, and I don't know if we're still going to call it in the marketing materials, but I'm kind of attached to it, no pun intended, because I came up with it back in the day. But spare, S-P-A-I-R, stands
acronym
for Simple Pull Apart Insertable Replacement. And I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it works great.
So I'm forevermore, even if we don't, on packaging, to me that's a spare and always will be a spare.
With me too.
But one of the things I think that we've determined, first off, this driver, KICKER as a company, we started working with, participating, supporting, and doing a lot of stuff in what I like to call the base head community, the high output SPL community, about 3.5 years ago now. Yeah, knuckleheads like us, because I like it too. I hate to say it, I love it. But we started looking and doing some research to figure out if we were going to get back in this game, what we would come out with. And this is the culmination of 3.5 years of R&D, research, talking to the consumers, you guys. What do you want out of a driver? What features? So like John pointed out, it's got the dual 8-gauge binding or the barrier block, but then it also has a spring-loaded terminal. So you could series or parallel these hardwired if you want, and then use push terminals to connect it into your vehicle, or vice versa. However you want to connect it, you can. It's very, very flexible. It's got very long excursion. It's going to sound good. This isn't just an SPL driver. This is a KICKER driver that happens to have 3 inches plus of travel. So if you want to do a lot of SPL, because that's what this, when you want to move loud at lower frequencies, it takes a lot more of this.
Bore and stroke.
Bore and stroke. It's that simple.
And by the way, those are all off-the-shelf parts, right?
No. These are completely tooled and designed up by Stillwater Designs.
Right here in this building.
Right here in this building. And that's one of the things, you know, I put up the one comment, the guy's waiting for finalized specs. Here's where we're at. Initially, we thought we were going to use some type of a foam surround on this driver. And we've been experimenting, playing around, and I can tell you I was in a listening test. Of course, you saw the one in the video moving, means we actually have working samples here, or you couldn't see that. I was actually in a listening test last week, and the spare that Tim pulled up on the screen that you saw down there, that is actually a Santerpene surround, which is a, I don't want to call it rubber, it's not a rubber, but
it's a modified polypropylene, basically.
Thank you, it's a modified poly, and we're probably going to end up going with the modified poly on this. A lot of people in the SPL world seems to have this hang up on foam. We're finding with our testing that foam's just not as durable. It's just not as, at least not
especially
durable to
with over
standard.
3 inches of excursion.
Yeah, especially 3 inches of excursion. So we're probably making a definitive decision that there's no backpedaling, that we're going to go to the Santerpene surround.
Well, I think, you know, what it boils down to, Kip, is whatever is going to give it the best performance and sound overall is what we're going to go with.
That's
we're still evaluating that.
Yeah, Steve, at the end of the day, Steve Irby, if it doesn't perform the way he wants, then we keep researching it, looking into it. And so we are still in the final development stages of the L7X, which part of you are probably really excited that we're coming out with it, and you're probably also disappointed you can't get it right now. There's no teal smalls available because we have not finalized the parts. We're still, as you can see, finalizing the surround. We're working on different surround geometries, working on different surround thicknesses so that we can get the sound quality we want without clicking or popping or those type of things, but yet have the control and the durability that we're looking for. And we're also playing around with the spider packs inside. And of course, those two things together make up the suspension of the speaker, and the suspension
is very important.
It's very important. So unfortunately, there are no teal smalls to talk about right now, but I promise you, as soon as we have teal small parameters available, once we get a finalized approved sample that we're done with here at KICKER, we will bring those parameters to you so you can start working with your favorite box program or favorite box designer, and you can start planning out your dream box to put in 1, 2, 4, or however many of these you'd like to put into your vehicle. 415 seems to be real popular.
Yeah. I think I'm actually only going to need 2.
So no teal smalls right now. We will be getting there. As you know, 2020, well, the dumpster fire that it was, we can all wave goodbye to that thing.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I know. But that being said, you know, developing products and staying in stock has been a real challenge for 2020. There were a lot of things that this entire COVID issue has put on every business that's out there. We're dealing with them the best way we can as well.
Pretty much anything that's in leisure entertainment was really taxed to its limits.
Yeah, it's just so we're doing the best we can, and we're working very diligent at it. Things are looking better, which is great news for everyone when it comes to that. So 2020, here's to 2021. I started off with a new year, new beard, but it got to me, so I had to shave back down to thin skin again.
You look like you again.
Yeah, I look like me again, but I had the beard for the new year. So that driver, we're working hard. Right now, and I'm going to pull it from the sheet here so I'm not lying to anybody. At least I don't want to lie. Availability.
But actually, real quick, let's just talk with, Carl asked you, how do you wire car speakers for home audio, and do you have an amp for home use? It's not about the speakers, how you wire, it's about the impedance, and that's kind of the whole thing. Is most home systems are 8 ohms, car speakers are 4 ohms or 2 ohms. As long as you match the impedance, most home receivers will play a 4 ohm load, so a single set of car speakers on a home receiver should be fine.
Right.
Or you can take 2 of them, wire them in series. So for an 8 ohm load. But so, any car speaker can definitely be used for home audio, but we do not have any home audios, amplifiers. So
no, we don't, well, at least not today. You never know what the future may hold, but right now we don't do
we said
home
we never
amps.
make head units, and now we got the media center, so.
I mean, I'll tell you what I use. I mean, not that I'm giving a shout out to any brand, because there's a lot of good brands out there, but in my own system at home that I use for powering my subwoofers at home, I use QSC Audio Pro Sound amplifiers. You get a lot of power for the buck. I like QSC. I sold QSC as a retailer back in the day, so I kind of have an affection for QSC. It's kind of the brand I got to.
Products.
But there's lots of other stuff. There's Crown. There's lots of brands. I'm not trying to. That's just the one brand to go to. But that's what I personally use, just because I like it and I've used it a lot. So you can, just like John said, it's the impedance game. You just got to design a box that you like and make sure you're using the right impedance to whatever amplifier you're choosing to use in your setup, and you can use these subs in a home environment, no problem at all. I'm going to. He obviously is as well. So we're waiting for that. So the way it's looking right now as far as availability, we're looking, the official latest thing is Q3 of this year. So that January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So July is the beginning of Q3. So I would expect us to, if things stay on track, if the testing and listening that we did last week is any indication of where we're going on the final design of where this driver is going, I think we're close. But understand, this is Steve Irby's company. When it says KICKER on it, that's the same thing as him signing his name that says Steve Irby, and he wants it to be at a certain way, sound a certain way, have a certain durability, and that's the thing, is we're not going to release this product early.
We don't just pull something like this out of your ear.
We really took a gamble letting you guys in on that particular product as early as we did by doing it at the quote-unquote SEMA time frame when we did the original UnMASKed, but we felt it was such a cool and exciting product, and we really wanted to bring everyone in to let you know the direction we were going, because if we're doing Solo X, which is actually L7X, Solo X is the family, and I keep using the word family, but all we've got is L7X, but I said family. So stay tuned. That's all I can tell you on that. It's going to be fun, I promise you. It makes me smile to know what else could be joining the family as we move on down this highway.
That means different things.
It does mean different things. So we're saying Q3. Understand we're pushing as fast as we can to get this out as soon as we can, but it's looking about Q3. We will keep you updated on the L7X right here on the KICKER UnMASKed Live weekly show. Anything, whether it's a moved timeline, whether it's positive or negative, we'll let you know. And of course, pricing. Well, right now, and I'll even show you, pricing is TBD. Okay, what that means is to be determined. What I can tell you is Steve Irby's goal is and I want to touch on two things here when it comes to the L7X. The original Solo X driver, I've seen some of the comments, not just in here tonight, but some of them that are online on Facebook and YouTube. The thing I want you to understand is we are rating these drivers at 2,000 watts RMS. And some people have made the comment, well, the old drivers were rated at 5,000 watts, so this isn't nearly the same driver. Here's what I want to address with you on that first off. The testing that we have today to give you an accurate number to how many watts this speaker is actually capable of being fed to it safely is way more advanced than the testing we had back, which now is 16 years ago?
Yeah, pretty much, 2002.
16, yeah, it's been a long time ago.
That's like 19 years ago.
Yeah, well, gee, time
19.
flies. We're still here, John, hang on. So the methodology for testing to come with power has gotten a lot better. The other thing is, if you look at the progression of the original Solo X, we launched with an 18, we then came out with a 10 and a 12, and then it was like the second iteration when we changed the color of the cones, we actually pulled those power ratings down. They weren't rated at 5,000 watts anymore. We actually dropped those power ratings down. And if I remember right, I want to say it was 1,500 watts.
I think 25.
Was it 25?
At least on the 18 it was 20. Okay. So about half.
About half.
Real world.
Real world.
Because I think initially we were assuming, for SPL only, and then we decided that, people are like, hey, these things actually sound good. I mean, Gary Biggs, set of those in his Buick.
I asked a world champion with the Solo X subwoofers. So, and to kind of hinge on what John said there, music listening over long term is different thermal capacity than brrr, and you're done. So that's where those power ratings were modified. Here's the thing I can tell you. try not to look at the old Solo X power rating numbers. Just ignore them. Understand that we're conservatively rating this woofer at 2,000 watts RMS. And as far as what this new L7X driver does compared to the old Solo X driver, it's night and day. This is a completely different animal. And there's a lot of people out there that really, really like the old Solo X. I mean, even today, there are people that covet the motor. They're buy the motors. This. Yeah, they'll buy the motors and knock the basket off and have their favorite reconer turned into a round driver, do what they want, because even by today's standards, that's one of the best ferrite motors that people have ever experienced.
Yeah, that motor had a BL force of 40.
Yeah. Well, understand, folks, the guy who designed that original Solo X motor, he designed this one. And this one surpasses what the old original Solo X did. So I'm not trying to keep you salivating, but I want you to know that if there's any negative thoughts about power ratings or handling, just understand we know that way back then, some of the power ratings were probably a little higher than they should have been, and it's because of the testing standards and the ratings that we used, and we went to a more musical rating. And then if you come forward to today, the testing standards we have today are radically different, but this driver is going to do a whole lot more and do it scarier than the original Solo X.
Real quickly, you start talking about parameters and features. Talk about power handling. If you remember, what was the X Max on the Solo X18?
It was well, we actually didn't.
The actual. Let's do the measurement.
It was negative.
Well, actually, it was 5 millimeters.
Well, it was almost negative.
Yeah, pretty close. But the thing still had amazing cone travel.
It did.
And that's why we like to mention that, hey, X-Max does not necessarily mean, that's a physical measurement. It's not cone travel. So, an 18-inch woofer with an X-Max of 5 millimeters, that's a fifth of an inch. It moved a lot farther than a fifth of an inch.
And that gets into a much deeper discussion.
Yes, don't get hung up on X-Max.
We'll actually get into a discussion on that someday. But just remember, X-Max and mechanical peak-to-peak are not the same number. And let's just leave it at that. Understand that this woofer is going to have a peak-to-peak mechanical of 3 inches-ish. Until we get everything, I don't want to land on a solid number, so I'm going to say 3 inches-ish until everything gets sorted out, but that's what we're looking at. As far as pricing goes, the original Solo X was 18, 10, and 12. The new L7X, we're doing a 10, 12, and a 15. So obviously, there's a driver there that we didn't make before, which is the 15. And we're not currently making an 18. So with that said, if you look at the 10 and the 12, which are the two we can compare apples to apples as far as size, look at the old MSRP of the original Solo X, and Steve is predicting that these are going to come in probably around half.
Yeah.
So that's our goal, half. So it might be a shade under, it could be a shade over, but our target is to come in at about half of what the original Solo X was as far as an MSRP pricing.
Double the performance at half the cost.
Right. And I'm trying to remember, I think a Solo X10, if I remember right, it was $999.
Yeah, I think the 18 was $15.99.
I think so. So I think like a 10 was $999. I think 12 was $11.99. So if you just go off of those numbers and come forward, we're going to be in that 450 to 500 range probably.
That's amazing.
On the 10, and then we're probably going to be in that 550 to 650 range on a 12. That's probably the range. We're not going to give you a firm number, but I know you're all chomping at the bit. Well, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? A word from Steve is we're targeting half of what the old drivers were. So that at least gives you an idea. And when we have firmer information, we will bring it to you here first, right out of the gate here at Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly, because we want you guys to know. So no real release date other than Q3, no real pricing other than telling you what our target goals are based on that. I think we're going to hit both of those pretty good.
So what did we actually tell them then?
I don't know. We told them a lot. There's a lot of information here. What I want to do is, Bill, are you ready to do the winners? Yep. You are ready to do the winners? Let's, we've had somebody in the background here kind of just chilling out. I know he's been in the feed and doing stuff. Why don't we go ahead and just bring him in while we do our winner drawings? Let's bring Derek into the show. He's actually in the backstage here. He's been watching.
Derek in the house.
Derek's in the house.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing, Big D?
Good. Wow, this was an exciting show. Lots of products. You guys have been busy.
Yes, they have.
We have been busy. We know that a lot of people want to know about the L7X. It's obviously that. The L7, if we look at the products from the original SEMA Unmasked event, L7X, people are chomping at the bit for it. They're really chomping at the bit for the KSMT tweeter pod.
Yeah.
They're really chomping at the bit for the 6x9 two-way system with the new middler. They're really chomping at the bit for the power bars. there was a lot of interest in those products. Not that there isn't interest in the rest of the products, but those were really the key products. And I know you probably got your opinion. I mean, what do you see? I mean, you see a lot of talk on your channel and things going on here. I know you join our show a lot, which we appreciate. So what do you think the hot button is?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt the Solo X or the L7X subs. And you guys get noise from me?
No.
Or is that you? Okay, I'm hearing some, Kip. I think it's you. So
It's
yeah,
because you sound great.
Yeah, the L7X subs, obviously off the chain. Can't wait for those. Audio is really hot. I'll back it down just a little bit. I can't help it sometimes when the lights are on me. I'm just hot. Maybe not. Does that sound better, Bill?
It's closer.
Closer, a little bit more? Okay, I'll drop it down a little more. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, I think, yep, we can live with that.
All right, cool. So yeah, obviously L7X, everybody wants to know, everybody wants to see them. The videos of the slow-mo, just beautiful. I'm getting some feedback from somebody. Are we good here?
Are you getting feedback?
Yeah, I'm getting some clicking.
Hold on a second. Stay here. I'm gonna go check some.
Yeah, obviously, John, those tweeter pods too.
Yeah, these things are pretty cool.
Amazing. And for $300, I mean that's very reasonable. I was thinking they were going to be like $399.
Yeah, like I say, MSRP, UMAP, they're going to be an awesome speaker. And, that's the whole thing with Kicker. It's bang for the buck. It's value. And sometimes we get beat up quite a bit because our products are not expensive. But, I'll put them side by side. The QSS and QSC, mid-range and tweeter components, fantastic drivers, at a very affordable price. And a lot of people probably don't know when those speakers were actually introduced back in 2005, they were the SS drivers. They were about $1,500 a pair. And we sold phenomenal numbers. And it's still the same basic drivers that we had back then. It's just we've already paid for the tooling, so we've taken that cost out of the drivers and we've updated the crossovers to really fine tune them. But incredible sounding speakers and such a great value for the price. But we don't often get enough credit for sound quality. And as Kip has mentioned, Steve is a musician and an engineer. He knows how it should sound. He knows how it should perform. And we're not going to release a product unless it sounds right. It sounds good.
I just give you guys props because obviously a lot of work went into the show tonight to show people all these products. I know you're normally used to going to CES and doing things like this live and doing 75,000 different versions of this. But I think this is a great presentation and showing off everybody the products and getting a little bit deeper into pricing and the specs and a little bit more. So it was fun for me, and it seems like in the chat room everybody else was having a good time as well.
Well, if you don't mind hanging around with us, we're going to announce those winners real quick so we can get that out of the way. You mind hanging around with us?
Sure, I'll be here.
All right, Bill. So let's call winner number 1. Whenever you're ready. It's all on you, baby. So, winner number 4?
Yeah, he's going to start with 4, apparently.
Okay, winner number 4.
Shane.
Shane C. Say that again?
We're counting down.
Oh, okay. Winner number 4, Shane C. in Hagerstown, Maryland. Shane, you are a winner, and we kind of said at the beginning of the show, so what you've won is one of the original limited edition black Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirts. We're going to get you a set of the EB200 earbuds. We're going to get you a couple Kicker koozies so you can keep your favorite beverage nice and frosty to your settings. And we need your information. Now, to get this, and this will apply for everyone, I'm going to say it more times, you probably get tired of me saying this, need you to reach out to social@kicker.com. I'm sure Bill will throw that into the feed and he'll throw it in the comment section. But what you need to do is email us. We need to have your information. We need your shipping information. It cannot be a P.O. box. We have to have a legit address, no P.O. boxes. If you get a P.O. box, we'll just ping you back and go, can't use this. So we need a legit address, your full name and information, your shirt size, and Bill may have already asked you your shirt size in the Gleam entry. I'm not sure. That's a Bill question if he hasn't already asked you that.
We don't see that.
And we also need a phone number. One of the things that FedEx and UPS both want is they want a phone number on the receiving end. So if there's a problem with the delivery, they can reach out to you and arrange to have that delivered. So we do need a valid phone number from you as well. None of that information is shared out in the world. We just need that to get your prize to you. So if you'll reach out to us, just social@kicker.com with that information, we'll get your prize out to you. So that's winner number 4. Bill, who do we have for winner number 3? Who we got there, John?
Looks like Ryan P. in Denison, Texas. Not too far away.
That isn't too far away. Ryan
That's about
P.
3 hours south of here, isn't it?
Yeah, he's close.
He could drive up here and
He
get
can
his
drive
prize.
up and get it.
And take a tour of the facility. Come on down, or come on up, I should say, up
Come on
35.
up. So congratulations, Ryan. You are winner number 3 here tonight at Kicker Unmasked Live. And again, we've kind of gotten the habit here. I mean, we're going to do longer running, bigger drawings like we did with Big D. We're going to do more stuff like that in the future. But we really like doing these drawings. We do them right here live on the show because it really is for the people who are tuned in watching. It's for a chance for just you guys to have a chance to win something. So again, limited edition shirt, set of EB200s, and 2 sets of koozies are headed your way. Winner number 2, Bill? Michael S. in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Hopefully I got all that correct.
I've been there.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, before I was here, I lived in Chicago and
Oh.
covered Illinois. So yeah, I've
You
been
know
all
right where
through
that's
there.
at. So winner number 2, Michael, you know the drill. Social@kicker.com. Address, no P.O. box, full name, shirt size, and a valid telephone number. Send us that information. We will get your prize out in the mail.
Social Security number, bank account.
Social Security
Yeah, all
number,
that stuff.
bank account. If you send us those things, you might get something extra. You won't want it, but you might get something extra.
Or they might be missing something, like funds.
And then finally, winner number 1 for the evening. Who do we have, Bill? Final winner is Charlene P. in Kentwood, Louisiana. I think that's the first winner we've had from Louisiana ever. So Charlene, you are the winner tonight. Same thing. You just won yourself a Unmasked Live limited edition black tea, a set of the EB200 earbuds, a couple of koozies to keep your beverages nice and frosty. And all you have to do is reach out to social@kicker.com. Again, we need your name, shirt size, mailing address, no P.O. box, and a valid phone number.
Wasn't there a less expensive car audio brand made in that town?
I was going to say
long time
Kingwood,
ago.
but I wasn't sure.
I was thinking Kenford and Rockwood.
Kenford and Rockwood?
Yeah, remember those?
I do.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those.
And Alfine with a F.
Oh yeah. There were definitely some of those.
The clones.
Definitely some of those back in the day. So, before we take off here, I like to try to keep this show at about 90 minutes. We're pushing the envelope here,
You
obviously.
asked me, so you're not going to get.
Yeah,
90
we're
minutes.
10 minutes over, so we're
That's
just
good.
a shade
That's a
over.
new low,
but
which is
but we
good.
still got quite a few people in the chat. So, hey, Big D, you got any questions for us tonight? I mean, you said you scoured the feed. You saw a lot of people asking things. Is there anything you want to ask us that you think would be important to answer?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting the way you guys were talking about using some of these speakers in home theater, because I've been thinking the same. And I'm actually thinking of doing a video here pretty soon about that. And maybe we can twist Steve's arm if we do enough.
It's very possible we could
It's
do
happened
that.
in the past.
John Doe, which hopefully that's a pun. I don't know. Unless your name is John Doe, then man, you got one of the coolest names ever, because that's the best.
He needs a new name.
What's the bestest cubic foot for a Kicker 8-inch ported? John, here's my bestest answer for you. Reach out and contact support@kicker.com or 405-624-8510 Monday through Friday. That's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. And we've got 5 guys, and I'll just give a shout out. I mean, they are experienced, they know what they're doing, but we also have, everyone here has copies of Term Lab. And we can take whatever you've got, you can tell us what your maximum width, your maximum height, your maximum depths are that you can deal with, and the guys upstairs can plug those dimensions in, and they can come up with a box that'll get you the most performance. And since you're looking at an 8, I'm sure we can come up with a box to do that. A lot of times what happens with those guys is I want a pair of 15s, and when they run the volumes, they're like, you got enough room for maybe a pair of 10s. Box volume and tuning has everything to do with how well something performs. And those guys upstairs, they do it every day. They'd love to talk to you. If you're not a chatty guy like we are and don't want to talk on a phone, man, just reach out, support@kicker.com. They try to get back to you within 24 hours over email, but they love to talk on a phone because it gives them a chance to do one-on-one with you and figure things out. So please reach out. Kicker Tech Support is here for you before you buy a product, help you figure out which one you need, and after the sale, if you got a problem or can't figure out how to make something work right, they're there for you for all that. So that's my best answer for you, is reach out to those guys and get that conversation started.
Another plug for, Kicker as a company, you think about it, we're all under the roof. Normally, not counting COVID. So if these guys have questions or you get a question they can't answer it, I mean, they got the engineers right in the building to go right to the source without, having to send emails or, whatever. So, they're going to get you the right answer, or at least the correct answer. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's going to be the right answer.
I just wanted a Mega 40K too. Why not? I mean, it's right there. Had to put it up. Mega 40Ks round the horn, people. That's just funny. Sorry, I had to bring that up. Anything else there, Derek?
I saw a question about the middler. You mentioned those were going to be separate. Do we have pricing on those individually? And one other thing I had a question about was you said the remote is going to be wired now on the
yes.
Can you
KXM 905?
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, we for better or for worse, the Bluetooth remote is a great concept. But we have experienced over the run of that product basically two things that happen. One, the battery dies in the most inconvenient moment, and the end user feels like it's a defect. They don't think about replacing the battery,
and they didn't know.
Or they didn't know, and it creates kind of a negative situation there, trying to figure out why my remote base knob doesn't work anymore. And then when you finally get it down to it's just the battery, and then okay, I feel silly. And then the other reality is, as I'm sure you've experienced, and I have, it's really bad. A prime example is like when we go to CES or SEMA trade show, there's so much RF interference on the floor there from the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and other electronics, everyone's booth, that Bluetooth as a technology can just get walked over.
It just washes out.
And we experienced ourselves where at one of those trade shows where we can't control our amp now because there's so much RF interference around, and then maybe 10 minutes later, because the RF interference goes away, it works fine. And there's really nothing we can do about that. FCC, the way licensing works for anything that works on RF, you have to be able to accept all interference and not give any interference. So it's kind of like you have to take it all and can't do anything to overcome it.
Yeah.
And so we just experienced enough I would just say customer dissatisfaction and having issues with that we just found ourselves gravitating back to a wire and a knob, because it always works.
Yeah, it makes sense. 100%.
And I won't say that we won't ever go back to a wireless knob or wireless control of some kind. Technologies evolve and the technology change. We didn't create Bluetooth. We didn't invent Bluetooth. We just happened to use that technology to give us that wireless capability. If they come out with a more reliable connection or something that works better in the future, there's nothing that says we wouldn't go back to or come out with a new type of wireless remote. But for right now, we're just shifting away.
We had dial-up technology a while ago and thought it was state of the art.
True story. I'm looking that up, see if I got my price sheet here for you, Derek, on those 2 3/4. Hold on just a second. If you got another question, go ahead.
I think they're 59 if I remember right. But
I'm looking through the questions here, and you guys, see if you guys have any more. Yes, the L7X is expected Q3. That's what was mentioned earlier.
Correct.
We're getting some love for the support people at Kicker. Brett helped me a bunch, says one of the guys here, so we got some love going on there.
Yeah, hey, Brett's pretty twisted with the home audio too. If you guys get a chance, ask him about his home audio system, which uses Kicker 15s, by the way.
Yeah.
The funniest part about this home thing I want to do is trying to get that quad box up to my theater in the upstairs. That's going to be in the video if I can make
refrigerator cart.
Yeah. Or the straps, right? Just get one other person to help me get those straps that you put on that are make lifting easy.
The ones you used to move like your washer and dryer, the really big straps so you can lift.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just need one more person. Can't do that by myself.
Unfortunately, the price sheet I printed out, I just printed out the products we were going to talk about tonight, and I don't have the KS Midler in there. But what we'll do, it is available.
Sure it was $59.
I was going to think. I think it's $59. If I had to give you my best guess, those are $59 a pair.
And they do come with the bass blockers as well.
Yes, they come with the 400 hertz high-pass bass blockers, so they're ready to go. So yes, if you find yourself in a case where you just need the Midler, it is available from us. Ironically, that was
probably
actually
online right now if you go to kicker.com.
Yeah, you probably can get them. But we actually came out that 2 3/4 Midler first, and then the 6x9 component set came after, and then the Snowman was third. So it was actually the first one in our product line was that KS 2.75. So go check it out.
I know we've had them in stock. We sell out of them, like everything else.
Just don't hold us to it, but I'm 99% sure it's $59.
$49.95.
Hey,
look at that. We're saving you $10 off the ship's price.
$50.
Hey, Tim is more than a Camry man. He is handy at all of it. He just
awesome.
threw us a price.
Yeah,
so
I saw one more too, Kip. The KS 6x9 and Midler combo. I think somebody wanted to know what the retail on that was. Was that
sure
$399?
Nope. Let me check. I thought it was $249, but let me just check here so I'm not lying to you. $249.
$250
is the UMAP pricing on that 6x9 Midler passive crossover kit. So you get the whole shebang for $249.95. And keep in mind, that includes, and we have patent pending on it, that includes those 3 sets of metal bracket adapters. So basically that one Midler, you can drop it into one of those 3 brackets and fit your GM, Toyota, and hit me with the third one, John. Jeep.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of vehicles that have used that size speaker.
Yes.
So, pretty much all your GMs, but $250, and you forgot to mention, comes with the 6x9 adapters too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it does come with the 6x9 adapters.
A multitude of adapters for your listening pleasure.
And we're looking at those. If we're rehashing it, might as well do it late Q2. So June.
June-ish, yeah.
Probably June, as I would say. Understand, we're always, I'll say this. This is probably the first time in our company's history. First off, the original Unmasked was the first time we ever took new products straight to the consumers that early, ever. I don't know of any company that's ever taken their offerings for 2021 to people 3 months before 2020 ends.
And products that weren't even.
And products that weren't even, they're in development, which is the L7X. So we kind of broke the mold there, and actually giving you release dates now and UMAP prices kind of breaking the mold again, because we know some of these dates are out there a little bit, but there's been so much excitement over some of these products that we want you to have at least an idea. Guys are saying, okay, I'm planning my ride, I'm planning to do this, how long till it's going to be available. We're just trying to give you some kind of valuable, accurate time frame so that you can have something, okay, I'm looking at 3 months, okay, I'm looking at 6 months, what am I realistically looking at? But understand, on this side of the fence, we're striving continuously to get these things to market as quickly as we can, but we're not going to take shortcuts to get there. So,
what do you think, L7X quad box?
Ooh, L7X quad.
There's your home theater.
I don't think Big D wants to live an L7X quad box into his truck alone.
Hey, put some legs on it and turn it into a coffee table, downward firing coffee table.
There you go. I like John's
here's what I got to say about an L7X quad box. Just remember, I said Solo X is a family. L7X is a product in the family. Let your imaginations go wild, folks.
You're so mean, Kip.
Easy.
I like it.
For the win.
I like doing it. Like I tell people all the time.
Herbie started it.
He did. Yeah. It's not that I can't keep a secret. It's everyone I tell. They won't keep their mouth shut. So I don't know how to do it. I'm good at keeping secrets. I'm great. It's just the people I tell. They tell everybody. So.
Dang it.
So anyhow, obviously this tonight's show is a little bit different format. John and I figured ping-ponging back and forth on this would be a good way to break it up to cover all that information.
And we had fun doing it.
I had fun. Thanks, John. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Big D, as always, thank you for hanging out. I know sometimes you're not actually here on the show with us, but I see you in the chat feed, and I appreciate you hanging out and answering questions and participating in this. It's refreshing and it's actually uplifting to have someone like you participating.
It's great to have support and friends in the community.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me here, and like I said, you guys are doing a fantastic job with your show. And I think it just displays with the feedback you're getting from the community here. You're just getting to show the side of Kicker that some of us get to see or have seen in person. You're getting to show it live every week. So I'm just elated to be here and be a part of this, and looking forward to what's coming up next.
Well, you speaking of coming up next, I caught this in the feed, so before we sign off here, I had to. So we got Jay Bordeaux or Bordeaux. Maybe it's Bordeaux. Hope I got it right. Jay, if I butchered your last name, I certainly apologize.
Yeah, you might as well apologize.
Yeah. So it's confirmed that the new Solo X/L7X, thank you for getting both those in there, Jay, going to be 10, 12, and 15. Okay, let me come here with John. Okay.
Jay, that's what we can tell you right now.
And that's all.
And that's all we can tell you right now. But
who knows? Oh, it's fun to be evil.
I'm not trying to be evil, but I just want to confirm for Jay that, currently, as it sits right now, yes, 10, 12, and 15. But what I will say is, and hopefully you guys, you understand and appreciate the sincerity when we say this. Part of this show that we're doing is, we're having fun showing you guys what's coming and what new things are available and answering tech questions and showing you what makes Kicker product. Like when we did the whole thing with the key lock. I mean, if you haven't seen that video, that was episode 7. I think
that's really impressive.
If you haven't seen what a key lock can do for you in your OE systems, you got the factory radio, you got the touchscreen, you got the steering wheel controls, you got everything integrated, but you want more power, you want cleaner sound, you want better speakers. What the factories are doing to the signals with all the auto EQ and the bass roll off and the things they're doing, that key lock fixes it all.
For how much?
It retails for $99.
Yeah, $100.
$100. And what that key lock can do, I mean, there's no other company that's got a product that does it automatically like that. No one out there has it. And I'm proud to say that, from coming from Kicker standpoint, we got a piece that you want to get your car started right, get a key lock. It's the way to go. And so being able to show you, we did the whole RTA, and it's not just us telling you, we're showing you with signals. We're showing you with an RTA.
That was the first time you did it, too.
Yeah, and it does what it does. So
I was in quarantine in the back during that show.
You were quarantined that day. But we love doing those things and showing you guys what these products can do. But the flip side of this, and we mean this sincerely, guys, throw us what you want to hear about what new products you'd like to see, what additions you'd like to see to a certain product line, what you'd like to see us talk about as far as diving deeper. We want to hear that information because it's what drives this show. We got 50 weeks. We got 50 shows to do. You're going to probably see a lot of this guy because I need somebody to join me and do 50 shows. So John's going to probably become a fixture here a lot.
I'm the only one that can talk almost as much as Kip.
He can out-talk me. I don't want to go to a bar with John. He can out-talk me. But the fact of the matter is, we want that kind of input and feedback. And yes, when it comes to the Solo X or L7X specifically, yes, people are asking for an 18. Yes, people are asking for an 8. Yes, people are asking for a 6.5. Are we listening? The answer is yes.
But that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of using you guys at the show, too, to get information and feedback.
Yes.
So you're part of this Kicker family, and thank you.
Absolutely. So the feedback matters. And when we can talk about those products, we're going to talk about them on this show right here first, and this is where you'll find out about it. So 10, 12, and 15, for now.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Was that mean, Derek?
That was not mean.
Okay, I hope not.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't want it to be.
Real quick shout out, 12 Volt Talk tomorrow night. Bill Frog is going to be on with us, 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Eastern,
Forgot
7
about
p.m.
that.
Central.
In his costume, I hope.
I am going to be joining that tomorrow night because there's nothing I want to do more than just give him a hard time behind the scenes. I'm ready.
Can I sign up for that?
Done.
Bring it. We're ready.
So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Kicker Unmasked Live. This was episode 10. We had a blast doing it. John, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for letting me be on.
Derek, as always, thank you for hanging out in the back, for answering questions, interfacing with everyone who joins us here. Love having you on the show. I can't thank you enough. We will definitely, I'll see you again tomorrow night because I'll be in the back on your show. I can't not be there. I got to be. And so with that said,
have a good night.
Fantastic, you too. Everyone, we appreciate it. Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. It's here every Tuesday night, 7:30 Central Time, right here on the Facebook and YouTube channels. Hope you had a great time. We certainly look forward to seeing you next week. We will have a teaser video out telling you what we're going to talk about, so look for that in all of the social feeds. Until then, I'm Kip.
I'm John.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care.